stages. Even a draw would pretty much put Slovakia on the verge of it. For Sweden, well, a little bit like if it was a draw for Slovakia. A win here, they would probably be good for the last 16. Not guaranteed, though, with this new format, with some of the third-place teams going through. But Sweden against Slovakia, two teams who know they could be one big performance away from a passage route through to the knockout stages, and what an achievement that would be for those teams. In terms of the team news, Sweden have kept well enough alone. No changes from the side that drew against Spain. Robin Olsen, who had the most touches and made the most passes of any Swede in that game, he's the goalkeeper. Back four, Mikael Lustig, the former Celtic player who was a doubt. He suffered a groin injury against Spain, but he's okay to start here. It's an experienced team, it's an aging team. Victor Lindelof alongside Marcus Danielsson in the middle, and Ludwig Augustinsson, the Werder Bremen left back, on the left-hand side. In midfield of a flat 4-4-2, Seb Larsson, once of Arsenal, Birmingham and Sunderland. He's on the right, Christopher Olsen and Albin Ekdal in the middle, Emil Forsberg off the left-hand side, and the front two, Marcus Berg and Alexander Isak. Clinton, who I know is a player you enjoy watching.
Yeah, he caused Spain all kinds of problems. I thought he was really good. And he didn't have a lot of possession, Connor, but when he had it, he took Sweden up the pitch. And as I said, he created probably the best opportunity for Sweden in that game, where Berg missed an absolute sitter. But he is a player. Don't see much of him, but he's lively, and he could cause Slovakia a lot of problems. But Slovakia have a good defender in Skriniar, who was outstanding in the first game we done.
Yep, Slovakia did well to beat Poland and Robert Lewandowski by 2-1. There is one change today. Martin Koselnik, who came on as a sub against the Poles, he starts this one. Lucas Haraslin, who had been playing on the right wing, is the player who drops out. We're about to get started. Sweden in their bright yellow shirts, Slovakia all in white. Marek Hamšík, with his trademark mohawk haircut, is standing and surveying everything, and he looks absolutely king of the manor there, Clinton.
I would love to see you with one of those, a mohawk, Connor. It would suit you. I think it'd be brilliant,
mate. I think science, physics and biology is conspiring to make that quite impossible, unfortunately. But I'm more than happy to give it a go.
I like that. That's the attitude.
We are underway. Dubravka of Newcastle is the Slovakia goalkeeper. They've got a back four of Pikarik, Lubomir Shatka, Milan Skriniar of Inter Milan, and Thomas Hubachan at left back. The two in the middle work hard, Juraj Kucka and Patrick Hrošťky, with then Koselnik on the right, Robert Mack on the left. Marek Hamšík's got a free role, and Ondrej Duda, who had a spell at Norwich City and played very well against Poland. Almost like he's a free role too, Clinton. He's a kind of a false nine, but he'll pop up all over the place. They have a funny structure to their team in attack.
Yeah, that wasn't the dude I saw playing at Norwich. I thought he was outstanding in the first game. They rotate ever so well, the front four, and he can drop off. Hamšík can go in behind Mack, who had a really good game on the left-hand side. They were interchangeable ever so well in that first game. So Sweden will have to be aware of that front four.
Free kick to Slovakia, fouled by Marcus Berg on Juraj Kucka. Who is Slovakia's joint top scorer in qualifying. He's a hard-working central midfield player. Hamšík, keen to get involved, drops to the halfway line, rolls it back to Milan Skriniar, and then he's challenged roughly and forcefully and dumped onto the ground. And Sweden showing inside the opening minutes here, Clinton Morris said that they want to roll up their sleeves and they want to get stuck into Slovakia. That's a few free kicks now.
Yeah, Olsen goes in late on Skriniar. They're showing more intent in these first minute than they did in the whole Spain game of going to press them. They're not going to let Slovakia dominate the ball. Slovakia are good in possession, but they've got to go and press them. This is a big game for Sweden. I feel they need to win to bring them back in, and if they win, they're in a great position.
Average age between the two teams is over 30, so plenty of experience down there, but on this hot day, those aging legs might feel it as the afternoon progresses. Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. 5 live from the BBC. Croatia against the Czech Republic is coming up in Group D at 5 o'clock, and we've got England against Scotland at 8. Slovakia play the ball forward, looking for Koselnik, who's coming off the wing on the right-hand side. It'll be crossed back into the centre. Kucka jumps, flag was raised. It wouldn't have counted anyway. It flashed over his head. But Slovakia showing good intent there to get into the Sweden penalty area. Bright start to the game in St. Petersburg.
Yeah, Kucka just goes a bit early, but you are right. He was brilliant the other day in midfield. He covers every inch of grass and blade of grass. I thought he was outstanding. It was a good run, but you can tell he never checked his shoulder. He was always ahead of the defenders.
Kucka, he's just got that expression on his face. You know he is one of those players who will run himself into the ground, who will never give up. He's a proper warrior. Every team can do with one of those, and he's operating in the middle of the midfield for Slovakia. Sweden tried to come on their first attack of the game. Emil Forsberg with the flowing blonde hair tries to work the ball to Seb Larsson, and Larsson catches a shot uncleanly. It is on target, but no power to trouble Martin Dubravka. We know he's got a great right boot, Seb Larsson. He hit that one with his left, and even with the deflection off the defender, it wasn't troubling the goalkeeper at all.
No, it was always comfortable. I think Forsberg is going to be an important player for Sweden. Coming in off that left-hand side, he don't play like a natural winger. He always comes into little pockets, and Seb Larsson the same on the right-hand side, but it was a shot, it was deflected. It was a comfortable save, but it's been a positive start from Sweden.
It has been. Emil Forsberg, who scored the winning goal that got Sweden into the World Cup quarter-finals 3 years ago. Milan Skriniar, who's had a fantastic season in Italy, as Inter have won their first Serie A title in such a long time. And all under Antonio Conte. Lubomir Shatska, who plays in Poland with Lech Poznan, exchanges passes with Pekarek. Sweden, who saw so little of the ball against Spain, will expect to have more possession today. However, Hamšík and Slovakia are dominating the ball in the early stages here. Hamšík gets it back, right wing, midway inside the Sweden half, delivers a low trajectory cross. It's been missed by Victor Lindelof, and the Manchester United player is very lucky there. He swung his boot at it, it went right through him, but there was no one anticipating that happen, and therefore he gets away with it. The player, I think it was Robert Mack on the left-hand side, just stopped his run, assuming Lindelof would clear it, Clinton.
You're right, Mack, you want Mack and Dudu in there. It's a good ball in from Hamšík, but they thought Lindelof was going to deal with it. They just didn't have enough bodies into the box, but Hamšík again making things happen like he did in the first game.
Slovakia, who beat both the Republic of Ireland and Northern Ireland in the playoffs to get to this tournament, have got their first corner of the game. Kucka's been pushed and shoved around in there as he tries to find some space. Marek Hamšík delivers it in. Excellent corner left-footed, and Kucka again rising high, but his header is over the crossbar. It's been a strong start to the game from Slovakia.
Yeah, another good attack from Kucka. He gets in there. He always, you're right, Connor. He's one of those players. He's probably the first name on the team sheet. He always wants to get in there. He wants to attack. But it's a good ball from Hamšík. But what I've just picked up there, he's naturally right-footed. He took the corner with his left foot, Connor. So he's technically a very good footballer. Can use both feet really well.
Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. This game was supposed to be held in Dublin before the rejig to the schedule. We'd have had a very different weekend, Clinton, were we?
I'm telling you, Connor, it would have been a brilliant weekend.
Absolutely. We can only hope for the future.
Exactly.
Here is Lindelof on the halfway line. We'd have had the full fry up this morning, the walk on Sandymount Beach. We wouldn't be going to bed early tonight.
Exactly.
Oh, well, there we go. Lindelof has possession just inside his own half.
We can only dream.
He's sent a decent ball forward to Isak. First time Isak's been involved in the ball. This exciting player who's done well in Spain this season. Larsson down the right-hand side, clips it across, deflects off a defender, nearly falls for Isak a second time. Then Hubachan heads it back across the edge of his own penalty area. That was a little bit dangerous, but Horovsky was back there and he's able to clear it away. Sweden regain possession inside the centre circle with the shaven-headed Marcus Danielsson. This is his first major tournament. He's got Forsberg on the left-hand side, gets to within 15 yards of the Slovakia penalty area. Now infield to Christopher Olsen, who started his career as a kid at Arsenal. He'll prod it into the penalty area to pick out Isak. Isak tries to deliver a cross, and it's blocked away off Shatska for Sweden's corner.
Yeah, it was good play again from Forsberg. I said he don't hug the touchline, gets into pockets. Good little reverse ball to Isak, who's always going to be a threat in behind, but it's good defending. It goes out for a corner.
Sweden have got some tall players in their squad, and they make their way into the penalty area to try and find some room. Sweden have failed to score in their last 3 European Championships games, but they were against really big teams, Italy, Belgium and Spain earlier on this week. Corner is poor, delivered in low and easily dealt with. And then it comes out to Olsen on the edge, and he clips back in across, which Dubravka decided early he was going to take, and dressed all in green. He gathers the ball, the Newcastle United goalkeeper, and bowls it out underarm to Kucka. He sends a crossfield pass that's a little bit wayward, headed away by Augustinsson. Slovakia get it back in defence with Shatka. Peter Pekarek, vastly experienced, 103rd cap for him. He's on the right-hand side. Still teasing each other out, Clinton Morris.
Yeah, they are. Both teams are feeling their way into this. It's always. I never thought it was going to be like the game the other day against Poland, where Slovakia were on the front foot for most of the first half, and then Poland were the better team second half. But as for Sweden, they need to come out. Obviously against Spain, defensively brilliant. Olsen was outstanding, the goalkeeper. and thoroughly deserved the man of the match. But you want to see them on the front foot more and creating chances.
This is 5 Live for the BBC. After the live football tonight, after the England-Scotland game, there will be a 6:06 on 5 Live with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. We're giving you the details during the day of how you can get involved in that and get your voice and have your say on 5 Live later on this evening. But it is set to be an epic day of football at Euro 2020. We're kicking it off here with Sweden against Slovakia. Marek Hamšík, a Napoli legend in the past, now plays his club football, funny enough, in Sweden, so he knows all about the opponents here. He's a player who, at the height of his powers, was absolutely brilliant. He's getting on in age a little bit now, but we saw enough against Poland to suggest that he's still got the touches, he's still got the vision, Clinton. Yeah,
he's still a clever footballer. Well, for what he's lacking in the yard of pace, his vision, he's always a step ahead of most players with the balls he's playing. He's always looking on the front foot to go forward and cause problems. So he's still a big figure in the Slovakian team still.
Hamšík there flicked the ball onto Andrzej Duda, who managed to beat the first defender, but then challenged by the second. Robert Mack is hobbling a little bit. He's been caught to the challenge by Christopher Olsen. Olsen just stamping down as he came in and landing on the player's foot on the ground. He got away with it at the time, Christopher Olsen, but Mack is feeling the brunt of the pain.
Do you know what, Connor? He's lucky. The referees just said that's 2 because he'd done one earlier on Skriniar. So if he makes another tackle, he's definitely going into the book. I can get it that he wants to set it up and be on the front foot, but he has to be a bit careful.
0-0 on 5 Live. Skriniar's clearance up into the midfield. Mack will lay the ball back to Thomas Hubachan, another very experienced international, and he knows this stadium very well. He used to play for Zenit St. Petersburg, so Hubachan knows every blade of grass on this pitch. Here is Koselnik down the right-hand side, trying to find some space to deliver in a cross, and it comes in low, and Danielson leaves it. He had a shout from the goalkeeper, and that's well dealt with by Robin Olsen, who's been at Everton this past season.
Yeah, it's a good ball in, but Duda's not in the box, Connor. They don't get enough bodies in the box, the Slovakians. It's good play out on the right-hand side, good ball in, but Duda's not, he's not a centre-forward who wants to get in there and score goals. I think he does too much of his work outside the box. I'd want my centre-forward in the box for crosses like that.
We're on the radio on BBC Radio 5 Live. You can listen via BBC Sounds or indeed on iPlayer. This game is a BBC television game. You can choose the audio option and have myself and Clinton's commentary perfectly in sync with the pictures. That's an option also available on the BBC Sport website. In the old days when you would do that, it used to affect the quality of the picture. You wouldn't get the high def, but the boffins have been working on it. They figured that out, so you can watch in glorious HD if you choose to do so. Sweden cross from the left-hand side. Milan Skriniar just outside the edge of his 6-yard box, heads it away. Not very convincingly. Back into the mix by Lustig. A high, hanging cross, looking for Marcus Berg on the far side, and he's pushed his weight around too much. Referee says he's too forceful, and that is going to be a free kick to Slovakia inside their own penalty area. Still 0-0 in Group E.
He's got every right to go attack that, and I don't. There's a bit of contact on Pekarik at the back post, so I understand now after seeing the replay why the referee give that decision. But I was an ex-centre forward. I'm going in to challenge from that. So Bergs, it was the right thing to do, but it was a foul.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't lead with his arm or anything like that, but just robust with the shoulder as they jumped in the air. Marcus Berg, who knows all the dark arts of challenging for aerial battles. He's been first choice for Sweden for over a decade now. They've got the young guns like Isak and Kiesen, who's on the bench, and these young kids want to take over, but Berg, who's 35 in August, he is still the first choice in this team. He knows, streetwise I would think is the way to describe how he operates these days. Christopher Olsen hits the ball back to Victor Lindelof, and under pressure inside his own penalty area, he will in turn give it back to Robin Olsen, who played 7 times for Carlo Ancelotti's Everton this past season on loan from Roma. Christopher Olsen gets possession again. He ever played 37 minutes for the first team at Arsenal during his time there. It was in a League Cup match against West Bromwich Albion. They released Berg down the right-hand side. Good running from him to get to the byline, but excellent defending Hubachan, who comes in and walks into him. And I mentioned those dark arts, that streetwiseness. Berg knew exactly what he was doing there. He slowed down in the sprint, knowing that the defender would come banging into him, and that's very clever how he's won the free kick.
Yeah, Huberchan, because he's not winning the race, Berg. He's thinking, I'm tired, I've just made a good 40 or 50-yard run at my age, and he's clever. He's waiting for the contact from the defender. As soon as he feels contact, he goes down. So a lot of people will say, oh, he bought the free kick ever so well, but it's clever centre-forward play.
Seb Larsson will be the Swede to place the ball. Today his 131st international cap, which is some innings. He's another who turns 36 this summer, back playing in Sweden these days. Wonderful career in England in the past, and we do know, if we know anything about Seb Larsson, is that he is a dead ball expert. This is not a shooting position for a free kick, it's a crossing location from the right wing. But normally, and I hope I'm not giving him the curse of the commentator here, normally Larsson lays these absolutely perfect. Let's see how he fares here, wearing the green boots. Here he comes, right-footed delivery, lashed it across the face of goal. Brilliant free kick, but just headed away and off target. Mikael Lustig was in there. He's got a decent goal-scoring record for his country. He was marked closely by Shatka there, and he couldn't keep the header down.
Yeah, he didn't let you down, did he, Connor? It was a great ball from Larsson, and you know it, 9 times out of 10 he always puts it on the money, and it was well attacked by Lustig, but good defending, and I think that's where Sweden can be a threat, because they put good delivery into the box.
It's the voice of Clinton Morrison watching this game with us here on 5 Live Sport for the BBC. Euro 2020, Group E, which has been a group that's been under the radar in terms of there hasn't been much spectacular action in this group so far. Spain banged on the door, should have scored goals against Sweden but didn't. It's a game that will not be featured in the highlight reels and the montages at the end of the tournament. Frankly, in a few months we'll forget that game ever happened, but yet the way of the group is all the teams have still got a chance of progressing.
They have, and you thought when the groups come out Spain were the favourites, and they did play brilliant on the night, but I think that where Spain are going to struggle is they haven't got that centre forward, Connor, that can put the ball in the back of the net. Morata works ever so hard, but he had a great opportunity the other night and totally missed it. So that is where they're going to struggle. I think the build-up play is fantastic.
And from your striking perspective, would you throw him in again, or is he going to be spooked by that, or do you give him the chance of redemption?
I would play him again, but I'd play Moreno. He's been outstanding. He scored a lot of goals at Villarreal this season. He's been outstanding. So why wouldn't you put him in?
There is Isak on the attack for Sweden, playing from left to right as we look down. 0-0 on 5 Live. Isak's done well to dribble in field with the ball, but that's super tackling. That's really what Milan Skriniar is all about. The fleet-footed youngster Isak with all the tricks, but Skriniar comes in, tackles and comes away with possession. He does then ultimately lose it in the midfield, but the danger has very much been cleared. He is an elite centre-back, Milan Skriniar. I don't think there's many teams in Europe who wouldn't be interested in him, and Inter Milan are very pleased that they have him.
I think Tottenham were once upon a time, but you know what it's like. Tottenham at the moment, whoever they're interested, they don't get Connor.
Yeah, well, they've a long shopping list of things they need to get at the moment. Tottenham. The less said about that, the better. This is Augustinsson, left back in through Danielsson to Victor Lindelof, and now Mikael Lustig on the right-hand side. Sweden, as much as the shadow of the stand is covering the pitch, whatever bit of sun that is in the eyes of the players is in the eyes of those Swedish defenders in this first half. Emil Forsberg will play it back inside his own half. Danielsson into Victor Lindelof. Again, Lindelof, who reached and was beaten in the Europa League final last month, would love to get some international success with his country, Sweden, here at the Euros. Sweden still with the ball. Christopher Olsen on the halfway line. Back to Mikael Lustig. Lustig, who's back in Sweden with Solna these days. It was played forward, and that's going to harmlessly run through to Martin Dubravka. So the way this group will finish up, Sweden will play Poland on Wednesday, and that's the same day that Slovakia will face Spain in their final group game. And given that it is Spain and they'll be warmed up by then, you would imagine Clinton Slovakia will think, look, win this game and then the Spain one doesn't matter.
Yeah, definitely. I think even a point for Slovakia, I think 4 points would be enough, Connor. Even if they finish third, it's still enough to go through. But you're right, they'll be looking to win this game, 6 points, because they know the Spain game will be difficult. Maybe Spain against Sweden, they didn't have their shooting boots on, but the next 2 games, Poland and Slovakia, you might just see the finishing qualities of Spain.
It's a game in which Seb Larsson had one scuffed shot. Didn't really trouble Martin Dubravka.
It's just that chance, Connor, the Berg one. Isak does well and he squares it. It's brilliant centre forward play. And I remember it was on the BBC, everyone's talking about it, and he just misses from 3 or 4 yards. And you're thinking his experience should be doing better.
Absolutely. Here's Larsson up to Christopher Olsen midway inside the Slovakia half, right hand side of the midfield. rolls it back to Mikael Lustig near the halfway line, and he spots that there's a bit of room over the far side for Danielson and sends it over there. Forsberg collects, and good quick feet to get away from Kutska, but the pressure from Kutska continued all the way. He doesn't give up, and he hassled Forsberg there into playing a poor rushed pass, and that returns possession to Slovakia.
You can see how the pattern of the game's going. Kind of Sweden are dominating possession, but Slovakia are happy to sit in and just play on the counter attack, but they want to have a bit of possession because you don't want to defend for the whole 45 minutes, because then it will be hard. It'll be tired legs, tired minds.
Kukuchan rolls the ball back to Milan Skriniar. Slovakia all in white. Mubashir to his right hand side, who was once a Newcastle player. He played in their youth and reserve teams. He did make one senior appearance for Newcastle. Lubomir Shatka was an FA Cup game against Leicester 6 years ago now. I think he had a loan spell at York as well, Lubomir Shatka, but he's kicked on in Poland, and he's got his place alongside Milan Skriniar at the heart of this Slovakia defence. Skriniar passes to his right hand side. Nothing fancy from Shatka, gives it back to Dubravka. Martin Dubravka, Clinton, who was a huge part in the turn of fortune for Newcastle this season. They were genuine relegation troubled into the final third of the season, but his return from injury stabilised that team an awful lot, and they finished well clear of trouble in the end.
Yeah, he's an outstanding goalkeeper, and obviously Darlow had done well before that, but Dubravka is Newcastle's number one, and he makes important saves, and I think when you've got him behind you, the defence, it is important, because you know a goalkeeper who's very reliable, and he is.
Good interception there by Lindelof, and he went on a dribble forward and he tried to get away from Eric Hamšík, and Hamšík shows he's not just about the fancy touches. He got proper tigerish tackle there. I think he got more of Lindelof than the ball, to be fair.
How was that not a foul corner?
That should have been a
no
free
wonder
kick.
why Lindelof was moaning at the linesman. He's 5 yards away, he don't help the referee out.
That's what I like about Hamšík, though. You know, he's got the mohawk and all the rest of it, but he knows how to get stuck in. As Isak collects possession, it's a great first touch. He pounced forward to receive it. Played by Albin Ekdal to the right hand side, and Seb Larsson back into Ekdal. He'll attack the Slovakia penalty area, crowded though around the D, so he's got to turn and come back through the midfield again. Victor Lindelof gets in possession once more. Sweden definitely seeing more of the ball in the early stages here, as Ekdal tries to flick it on towards Isak. Isak took his eye off it for a second. Hubachan is able to nick in, and the ball goes out of play for a throw into the Swedes. It's a game that's been played at a fast pace, but it is struggling for goal-mouth activity at the moment. It's a bit of a midfield battle. Albin Ekdal put under pressure by Ondrej Duda and forced back. Danielson will come forward, left-hand side, up from centre half for Sweden. Slovakia happy to sit deep here. They're holding a line along the edge of their own penalty area. They're basically saying to Sweden, well, come on, if you're good enough, break us down. This is Forsberg. That is a good turn. He gets away from Kutska. He attacks the penalty area. He rolled a pass towards Marcusberg, but not a good pass. And Slovakia haven't dealt with clearing it away. Larsson is picked up here on the edge of the penalty area. Isak inside him. Gives it back to Mikael Lustig. 15 yards now inside the penalty area. Much deeper now near the centre circle is Victor Lindelof. All this Sweden possession, but they're not really troubling Slovakia so far. Let's see if they can do now. Christopher Olsen. Good first touch to take him away from Hrušovský, and they still have it here. Olsen on the left-hand side, and a stretch from Pikarik, and he puts it out for a corner. That was a decent spell of pressure from the Swedes, Clinton.
No, it was. And Slovakia, they want to defend in their numbers. They had all 11 players behind the ball there, and then they'll try to play on the counter-attack. But Sweden have to keep moving and have to keep probing that football, and spaces will open up. And I think Forsberg's the one, Connor, he's the one who looks like he can turn and make something happen.
Forsberg will be the player to take this corner. He plays in Germany with Leipzig. Decent delivery. Lustig was close to it again. Then it nearly falls for Isak, and as Isak stretched to get the ball, he kicked into an opponent. One of the Slovakia defenders is down, and the referee will bring play to a halt. It is Martin Kuselnik who was caught by Isak there. I don't think Isak meant this. He was genuinely going for the ball, but it is a foul as he kicked out, trying to kick the ball. He kicked the opponent instead, and that is going to be a free kick to Slovakia.
Yeah, it's good defending, and Isak doesn't know he's behind him, and yeah, it just catches him down the back of the leg. It is a sore one, but he doesn't know. It wasn't deliberate.
Isak, 21 now, scored in his debut for Sweden as a 17-year-old. He was Sweden's youngest goal scorer. A player who's gone on to get 5 further goals for the national team. As Augustinsson comes in and makes a challenge. Danielson hits the ground, and that's got to be a free kick to Sweden 0-0 in St. Petersburg. This is the first of 3 commentaries today on 5 Live. It's all about Group D once this is over. We'll be live at Hampden for Croatia against Czech Republic. And the other game in that group, which you may or may not have heard a bit of build-up about this week, England against Scotland. It's an epic, and it's 8 o'clock on 5 Live. You can hear the entire game here, all the build-up. Mark Chapman, John Murray, Chris Waddle, Pat Nevin, all at Wembley for that game later on today.
Pat will be nervous. He will be nervous, won't he?
Interesting match. I think if Scotland, Clinton, as neutrals, I can say this, I think if Scotland take the lead, that could be a really good game to see.
Yeah,
just to smoke England out of
it. England have to come. Well, England will come out, but then Scotland have something to hold on to. So, yeah, it's an interesting game and it's an exciting game. Everyone's looking forward to it.
8 o'clock tonight on 5 Live. Hamšík with some clever footwork. Hubachan brings it up to the halfway line for Slovakia. Chance of a counter-attack. Sweden weren't messing around. And the foul on Kutska means a yellow card for Christopher Olsen. I think that one was coming, Clinton. He's had a few of those. He finally goes in the book.
Connor, he got warned literally 5-10 minutes ago, and he's thinking, no, I'm not listening. I think that's his style of play. Combative midfielder who likes to make tackles, and he has to be careful now. Because you saw the other day, Slovakia, exactly, against Slovakia, went down to 10 men. They went on and won the game.
So for a hard-working midfield player, there is a long way in this match to go for Christopher Olsen to have to survive on a yellow card. They've only played a quarter of the match. Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. Milan Skriniar, the heart of the Slovakia defence, plays to his right-hand side. Over Shatska, outside him Peter Pieterink, won the Bundesliga with Wolfsburg about a decade ago. Very experienced player over the years. Duda's touch is heavy, and that allows Augustinsson to clear away for Sweden. Now this could be a chance. Emil Forsberg has taken this well in his stride, breaks into the Slovakia half. Good recovery though from Vršovsky, who got back goal side very quickly and made sure that Forsberg wasn't able to advance. Christopher Olsen picks out the pass to Seb Larsson, and now Lustig from right back is going to be pressured by Robert Mack, and it's good pressing from Slovakia, and they force Sweden into their own half once again.
You can see, Connor, look at his shape. They've got everyone behind the ball. Everyone knows their job. They make it into a back 5, Slovakia, when they don't have the ball. So Sweden are taking too much touches on the ball. You have to keep moving it from side to side. Spaces will open up wide. When they're so compact like Slovakia are, keep moving it. Eventually you will shift players and you'll get an opportunity. I think Larsson has to hug the touchline because Forsberg on the left is not going to do that.
The yellow card shown to Olsen. Lustig and Hubachan are 2 players on the pitch who, if they were to pick up a yellow today, that would trigger a suspension. They would be banned for the final group games to come Wednesday. Here is Emil Forsberg. Ball down the left wing this time as Sweden tried to attack with Augustinsson, who's up from left back. That's not a bad delivery at all, and Seb Larsson just couldn't get the height. He was well positioned at the far post from where the cross came. He's not the tallest Seb Larsson. That was an excellent cross, and with 2 defenders around him, Larsson just couldn't get that extra leap he needed.
It's a great ball in from Augustinsson. It was a brilliant pass from Forsberg to him. Good touch, and Larsson, he probably wants someone like a Berg who's bigger than Larsson and centre forward to attack it, but unlucky from Larsson and good defending.
Yeah, it's not been a bad opening 25 minutes from Sweden. They have certainly offered more than Slovakia. They've been released from the shackles that Spain held them under in the opening group game. Here comes a throw-in from Lindelof, deep into the penalty area, headed away by Skriniar. And then a chance for Duda to get it down onto the deck. Slovakia wanting to launch a counter-attack here, but the hard-working Swedes don't allow them to do so. Strong challenge from Isak coming in on Hubachan. Slovakia hold on to possession, but they're still back around their own penalty area. The opportunity of a counter-attack has now expired. Pieterink will bring the ball over the halfway line. Koselnik into the midfield to Marek Hamšík. Hamšík back into his own half again as Slovakia look to hold on to the ball. He's very much revered at Napoli. Hamšík, they hold him up there in the same conversation as Diego Maradona, and the number of goals he scored for the club was up there with the Argentinian legend. He is the guy.
Some compliment, isn't it?
It is.
To put him up there with him.
Yeah, they've got all the murals on the wall. Obviously, Maradona is
I know what you mean. Yeah,
but he's up there. He is up there in the pantheon of great Napoli players. By the way, Clinton, I've always wondered why you didn't do this. Marek Hamšík, after the World Cup in 2010, I'll come back to this because Isak is attacking for Sweden. He's got Forsberg on the left-hand side, plenty of defenders back, a back heel from Forsberg looking for Augustinsson, an excellent covering. Koselnik, who ran back 40 yards there to keep up with Augustinsson, holds him up, but Augustinsson's a tough character, wins the ball back, plays it into the middle. There's an attempt of a volley from Marcus Berg. It was an awkward angle. He then goes in and threatens the goalkeeper Dubravka. Dubravka for a moment was out of his goal mouth, and Slovakia are relieved to clear the ball away. Big chance for Sweden there.
Yeah, it was a big chance. It looks like Berg gets his header all wrong. He does well for the second time to challenge Dubravka, but I think the first ball in from Augustin is a very good ball. And you see here, it's not his header. He tries to go with his left foot, and it's a centre forward that's not full of confidence there, because usually you just hit that on the volley. He does well with the second one to head it back across, and he's waiting probably. He's waiting for his centre forward or another midfield runner to be in and around the 6-yard box.
So Sweden coming closest without really firing in proper shots on target here, but at least their penalty area activity is of a higher nature than their opponent Slovakia. What I was going to ask you, Clinton, was, so Marek Hamšík, after the World Cup in 2010, he released his own fragrance, his own aftershave.
I knew that was coming.
So it was called Marek Napoli. It went on to be a big hit, especially in Italy. And I was thinking, well, what if it was Marek Napoli? I'm thinking maybe if you played for Crystal Palace, we could call it Clinton Crystal. That sounds like an aftershave.
I think this is a start here. I think you're onto something here. Yeah, I think definitely. We can sit down and talk about that, Connor.
Clinton
for sure.
Crystal. Let's do business. Who would not want to go out on a Saturday night
what I was
smelling like Clinton Morrison?
Exactly. Come on. You got me thinking now.
5 live for the BBC. St. Petersburg on a blistering hot Friday afternoon. 0-0 so far between Sweden and Slovakia. Two teams who, if this was to finish in a draw, would still be in with a chance of progressing going into the final game of the group. But you would imagine both of them will feel that this is the one they can go and win. Shatka passes to Pickerick on the right-hand side. Ball over the halfway line is a better one that time. Picking out Kucka. Kucka seems to be released to play a little bit more further forward than he did against Poland. So Hubachan is up from left back here. Decent ball into the penalty area to Duda. Back to goal. He's been ushered out of the box on the left-hand side. Now he needs some support. Robert Mack provides it first. Now in field to Hamšík. Decent ball towards the far post, and it's been cut back, and Kucka plays it in, and good defending from Danielsson. That was dangerous, but he just stood up firm. He let the ball bounce off him, and Sweden are able to get it away, for now anyway. But here comes Hirovski. Decent ball back into the penalty area. Duda dangerously back across the box, and it was lashed at Victor Lindelof on the edge of the 6-yard box. All he could do was propel it high up into the air. They haven't got it away yet, Sweden, as Pickerick tries to play in another cross, and this time Albin Ekdal is back there and able to clear away. That's the best passage we have seen from Slovakia in the game.
And when they go forward, they look really good. Hamšík again making things happen. I tell you, he's been quiet. He was good the other day. It's Mack. You want to see more of him, Connor, but Hamšík, good ball to Pickerick. And Kucka here, you're thinking, put your foot through it. I know what he's trying to do, put it back across, but from that angle, you never know, it might get a deflection. His body shape maybe doesn't allow him to drive it back across, but it was an easy cross and it was well dealt with. But they are causing problems now, Slovakia, and they will have a spell, Connor. Even though Sweden are dominating, Slovakia will always have a spell, and can they be clinical enough?
Absolutely. I'm trying to think of other summarisers in 5 Live and what their aftershaves would be.
Then always
think about that.
I'll tell you in a minute.
As the free kick is played into the penalty area, Kucka tries to hook it, but it comes off his shin pad. He was stretching. It was wide of the target. It was heading out for a goal kick, and he stretched to try and hook it back in, but it came off the outside of his leg, and that is going to be a goal kick to Sweden. I'm thinking Dion Dublin, maybe Dion Villa or something.
Dion Villa's a good
give us what you think.
No, I don't. One I always laugh at is Deno. I always do the commentary with him at games, and he's always saying, "Oh, Clinton, you smell good," and he says it all the time. You know what he's doing, Connor? He's dropping hints for me to say, "There you go. There's the aftershave I'm using. You can have it." So we need to think of one for him, because he definitely needs one.
Look, I love Deno. I don't think anyone wants to smell like Deno. I'm going to be very honest with you.
I'm trying to get him to smell a bit good, and I love him to bits as well.
I reckon Magic Chrissy Waddle could have a Marseille aftershave.
Oh yeah,
that would sell, by the way.
That would sell.
You want to smell that Mediterranean freshness.
Even I would buy that for sure, Connor.
0-0 between Sweden and Slovakia. Pat Nevin, Pat Goodison, Pat Chelsea.
Yeah, that's a good one.
He brings an indie flavour.
Yep.
As Dubravka clears the ball away, not a great clearance. Lustig will pounce upon it for Sweden. Accurate header into the feet of Isak, who's trying to shrug off the attentions of Hubertjan. He's supported here by Forsberg, and clever passing has worked some room on the right hand side for Larsson. Gets his head down, delivers in the cross. Well dealt with though. I think it was Shatka at the front post who headed it away. They haven't fully cleared, and this is Ekdal on the edge of the penalty area. Sweden trying to get the ball into the box towards the striker Marcus Berg, but so far he's been well marshalled by Skriniar and Shatka. Sweden hold on to possession. We have played over half an hour now in St. Petersburg. Lindelof at the back for Sweden will try to come forward. Oh, he's played a poor pass straight at Khrushchevsky. Slovakia regained possession, and then as Larsson tries to win it back again, he commits a foul. Free kick to Slovakia inside their own half.
They dominated Sweden, but they don't look like they're creating any clear-cut chances, Connor. I think that's the biggest problem, and I look at their bench and they've got a lot of attacking options, so I don't think the manager will leave it that long. Maybe get to the 60-minute mark and try to look at changes, because I still feel this is a game Sweden need to win, because Poland's not going to be an easy game. Poland probably need that game, need to win that game against Sweden to try and get through. Anyway,
Skriniar comes on the attack for Slovakia, plays it on to Robert Mack, back in through the centre of the midfield as Khrushchevsky seeks out Pickerick on the right hand side. Slovakia playing from right to left as we look down. Half capacity in this stadium in St. Petersburg, which can hold 68,000. Steenson has done well here against Krashelnik. Not only does he win the ball, but he's able to swivel and clear it away, and eventually it does get out of play, but back near the halfway line, and that has relieved the pressure for Sweden. Well, I'll say one thing, we've seen them now for over 120 minutes at this tournament, Sweden. They do not allow opponents to score. I mean, no. I know they rode their luck against Spain, but Slovakia have not really threatened in that regard.
No, they defend well, to be fair. They defend really well, Sweden. Everyone knows their job and they do a really good job. But I've been impressed with Slovakia. A lot of people probably thinking them coming to the tournament it'd be easy, but they've done ever so well so far, Connor, and they could get out of this group, which would be a great achievement.
John Murray's aftershave would smell of Northumberland mist and snow. And he would have a wonderful... I can imagine his voice on the ad, actually. That'd be...
His voice will sell it, won't it?
Yeah, take that, Calvin Klein. Here comes Hamšík for Slovakia. Oh, he's unlucky there. He played the ball slightly behind Robert Mack. Duda's going to pick it up anyway for Slovakia, and they've committed a few forward here. Here's a chance. Hamšík looks up. Pickerick arriving from right back. He picks him out just on the edge of the penalty area, right-hand side, but he doesn't have the ambition to play it into the box. He looks for the safe pass, and he turns and gives it back in the midfield to Horovsky. Pickerick again on the right-hand side. They need to get it into the penalty area here. It takes a deflection. Hamšík tries to pounce on the edge of the 6-yard box. He was always scrambling for it, and he just can't divert his shot on target. It's going to be a goal kick to Sweden. Better though from Slovakia.
Much better, but you know what he tries to do here, Hamšík? He gets his body in front. I don't think he can swivel because the defender's too tight, but he tries to take a touch. He's probably better off just staying on the ball in that penalty area, because defenders can't touch you, but I can definitely see what he's trying to do, and they need to get him on the ball further up the pitch because he looks the most likely at this precise moment.
Stat from Opta: Sweden in the first 25 minutes of this match today completed more passes than they did in the entirety of the game against Spain, which I think if anyone saw that game, that will not be hugely surprising, but it does sum up the different strategy that they have had to adopt here. They have Berg and Isak as willing runners up front, but that little bit of quality, Clinton, just that giving them a chance, everything they've had to really stretch for that's come towards them. If they can be given a clean opportunity, you would actually back either of those to stick one away.
Yeah, definitely. It's just the creative work. They're missing that, and that's what I'm saying. Even at his age now, they are missing a player like, I know we can't keep going back to him, but Ibrahimovic, I know he was injured and he would have probably have made this squad, but he has that X factor about him, Connor, and I feel that's what they're missing at the moment. I do think Forsberg is the one, but they need to get him on the ball a lot more to create chances for Isak and Berg.
Yeah, for some of our listeners who mightn't be aware of the situation with Zlatan, he announced earlier on this year he's coming back, he wants to go to the Euros, and he made himself available, but then he picked up an injury in March, and that's why Zlatan has not been involved in the Swedish squad. Here comes Slovakia on the attack. Ball played across the edge of the penalty area to Robert Mack on the left-hand side. He's got good close touch control. He did brilliantly in the build-up to the opening Slovakia goal against Poland. Support at the moment arrives from Hubertjan. He's less favoured Right boot tries to deliver it into the penalty area, and it's going to break down here, and there's a chance of a counter-attack away for Sweden, but excellent work, really good. Krzyzewski closing down the attempted clearance and pinning Sweden in. Mack, this tricky left winger, tries the little nutmeg on Lustig. Lustig's seen it all before, and he blocks it out for a corner. Corner to Slovakia on the left-hand side.
Yeah, Mack's touch where the ball coming out of the air was superb, and you were just thinking he had that position the other day against Poland and managed to beat two, but it was good defending from Lustig there.
One player in the Swedish squad who's publicly said he's happy that Zlatan is not involved is Albin Ekdal. He said that the other players can flourish without the Zlatan circus, which was an interesting
wow, so you
comment.
didn't really get on with him then, basically, because that's a strange thing to say.
Absolutely. Hamšík's corner for Slovakia, played towards the back post. And it might still be alive here, headed down by Shatka. Kucka tries a volley off his left boot. He's getting on the end of so many chances today. Juraj Kucka of Parma, but too many bodies in the penalty area, and it's blocked away, and Slovakia find themselves back deep inside their own half once again.
Yeah, they're growing into this game, Slovakia, slowly but surely, and I think Sweden need to be wary of that, because they are a threat, as I've said many a times, going forward and from set pieces, and Sweden have just come off the boil a bit in the last 10 minutes, and Slovakia are growing into this game.
Absolutely. Sweden have had a very good patch, but they've not scored in it. Now Slovakia are hoping that this is their time to shine. Duda, the bleached blonde hair, sends it to the left side again. I think they need to get Robert Mack on the ball a bit more. He's looked dangerous every time he's got it. Short winger with the red boots, loves a nutmeg, just pulled off another one there to pick out Duda on the edge of the D, and then too many Swedish defenders, and they're able to clear it away, and once again Slovakia are sent back inside their own half.
That was just cheeky, weren't it, Conor? Just passed it through his legs from about 5 yards. It's the worst thing when you know it's coming but you can't shut your legs.
It's good from Robert Mack, who plays his club football in Hungary. He does love to cut in off that left wing and then shoot with his right boot. Robert Mack, who was at Manchester City as a kid. He was on their books. He actually won the FA Youth Cup with Manchester City back in 2008. There was plenty familiar names in that Manchester City youth team. Kieran Trippier, Dedrick Boyata, Ben Mee, now at Burnley, was the captain. And Mack's fellow Slovak Vladimir Weiss was in that Manchester City youth team. So many of them, and that was before the really big money came in, but so many of them went on to have really good careers.
Yeah, that's a good youth team, to be fair. Many teams didn't like playing them. They had 6 or 7 very good players.
Here's Duda, right wing position for Slovakia. Mentioned how almost him and Hamšík have both got free roles. They don't operate with an out-and-out striker, do Slovakia. Hamšík here playing a nice ball to the right-hand side. Koselek's low cross to it. Oh, Duda went for the fancy flick. I think he'd a bit more time than he realised there that the cross was slightly behind him. Clinton, what's your reading of that?
Yeah, he tries to do a flick because it's behind him, but stay on the ball in the box, just take a touch. And to be fair, Mack's too far out on the left-hand side. He needs to be getting in at that back post, and that is where I think it's going wrong for Slovakia in its first half. Good balls into the box, but not enough bodies to trouble the Sweden defence.
I wanted to tell you a story about Marcus Berg. Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. So Marcus Berg, 3 years ago when Sweden went to Russia for the World Cup, he was involved with a competition with a sponsor where obviously he knew he was going to be away for ages. The prize of the competition was that you could live in his apartment in Gothenburg for the duration of the tournament. So that was the prize that was on offer. So off he went. A 28-year-old called Jesper Bergqvist won the competition. So he showed up at Marcus Berg's apartment, and you like this, Clinton. Marcus Berg had left out a list of chores. He had to water the flowers, he had to clean the windows.
No way. He thought he was going there on a luxury, and he had to go and do all the housework.
But then he did also leave a fully stocked fridge, and he left him a brand new Sweden kit as well. So it was I like that from Marcus Berg.
That's a brilliant story, yeah.
I'd imagine you're not having anyone staying in your gaff when you're away, Clinton.
No chance. That's not happening. He's brave, Marcus Berg is, but he definitely brave. But fair play to him. But I think I'll leave that one.
This is 5 Live for the BBC. Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. Half-time now approaching with a further build-up to England against Scotland with them in the studio over the break. We've also got Croatia against Czech Republic, which of course is a game that could be very important, particularly from a Scotland point of view. The outcome of that could affect how things are for them going into the last game. But in the bright sunshine in St. Petersburg, still awaiting the opening goal of this encounter in Group E. Ilan Skriniar has possession of the back, passes to his right-hand side to Lubomir Shatka. Now they'll come over the halfway line on the right. Pikrik Sweden at the moment have just dropped off. They've had a lot of high pressing in the game, but they've dropped off to allow Slovakia have the ball around the halfway line. Marek Hamšík has dropped in, his socks ever dropping down his calves. Stylish mover is Duda now, plays it forward out to the right hand side, and Pickering once again. Slovakia all in white. They get it back to Hamšík, looks up, knows exactly where everyone is, spins out a pass to Hubican on the left hand side. Kucka gets involved, rolls it low to the feet of Mak, who's just outside the penalty area that Slovakia are attacking on the left hand side, pulls it onto his right boot, has a look up. They are lacking that focal point of a traditional centre forward, Slovakia, in these positions, but let's see what Hubican can do here. That's a nice cutback, gets away from Larsson, tries to clip in across, and it's headed away. I think it was Lindelof at the front post. Good defending from Sweden, but definitely it's a different Slovakia team now. They're playing with much better intent.
Yeah, they have, and I said they'd have a spell in this game, and this is their spell right before half time. They're causing problems for Sweden, and Sweden look tired at the moment, like they put a lot of effort into the first half so far. It is a hot day, but as you hit the nail right on the head, Connor, Slovakia are missing that out-and-out goal scorer, the target man who stays in the box and wants to score goals. Duda's not that player. He wants to come out of the box.
Oh, hang on, mistake at the back, a chance for Duda, lays it to Hamšík, first time shot, he wasn't settled over it, and he's put it too high.
And he's not happy. Do you know why he's not happy? Because look at the set from Duda. He's trying to come onto this first time, he hits it too hard. Obviously Max moaning at him for not passing. He's not going to pass to Mac there, but it's the set from Duda, so he can come onto it. He's put too much pace on it, and he can't sort his feet out quick enough.
That was Danger was commentating the Belgium game yesterday against Denmark, and a mistake at the back gave a goal early in that match to the Danes, and that was sort of similar, where Sweden didn't deal with a clearance properly. And as you've illustrated, Clinton, if Duda had just rolled that one step in front of Hamšík, let him drive onto it, rather than have to put the brakes on and shoot at the same time, which is such a difficult thing to do. That is a bit of a let-off for the Swedes there.
It is. You never see Hamšík really lose his cool, but he had a big go at, not really Duda, Mac, because Mac's complaining that he should pass to him, but he's 20 yards out. He's got to have a shot there for sure.
Shot there, absolutely. Duda involved again. Slovakia controlling the play at the moment. Skriniar's long searching pass is perfectly judged and lands on the instep of Pickering inside the touchline on the far side. He'll now weave infield and pass it out to the exciting Robert Mack on the left hand side. A chance to run at the defence. They're doubling up at him, no surprise there. Lustig and Larsson, and even Christopher Olsen coming out 3-on-1. That might free up some space for someone else. Hubican up from left back, has a look, tries the little cutback pass to Hamšík. Nice movement, delivers in a very dangerous ball, and once again they're missing the centre forward in there. There's no one to pounce on what was a very good cross from Marek Hamšík. Sweden are having a bad spell. They can't hold on to the ball. They give it up again. 0-0 on 5 live. Duda with the blonde hair, left edge of the penalty area. Two defenders standing up inside him. He'll give the ball back infield to Juraj Kucka. Chance to look up, 15 yards outside the box. Soft pass, too soft to Pickering, and Forsberg is able to nip in and make the interception, and then good work from Slovakia, and they win it back once again.
Yeah, it's brilliant from Slovakia. The last 5 or 10 minutes they've been the better team, but Duda has to do more. For how good he was the other day, I think this afternoon so far he's been poor. He's not in the box. Hamšík again goes down to the byline, left foot. There's not one person in the box. How are you going to score a goal if you don't get people into the box? So it's been a struggle for Slovakia, but the last 10 minutes they certainly are dominating this game.
Andrei Duda, who played 10 games for Norwich, he didn't score in any of those matches. I think he sees himself as more of a number 10, but then having to operate as the false 9.
That's the problem. If he's a number 10, Hamšík's the number 10 here, so then you have to go and sit on the bench unless you want to play that number 9. To stay in this team, you have to be the out-and-out striker, because he's not as good as Hamšík.
Here is Hamšík, whose influence is growing in the game all the time. We're about to find out. I was going to say what's going to be added on, but there won't be anything added on. We're done and dusted for the first half. There is the whistle for the break. No goals yet in St. Petersburg. It is a match in which the momentum has shifted. Sweden dominated the early stages, but no doubt, Clinton Morrison, that Slovakia, looking for a win here today that would guarantee their route through to the knockout stages, they were the stronger in the closing stages of that half.
Spot on, Con. I think in first half an hour, I think Sweden were outstanding and were pushing and pushing. Didn't create any clear-cut chances, but they had half chances, but Slovakia defended well. And in the last 10 minutes, I think Slovakia have been the better team, and they're the ones who do create chances, but they just don't have enough bodies in the box to cause Sweden problems. So far, obviously 0-0, but I'm expecting goals in the second half, surely.
Right, we need to talk about this aftershave idea. There's money to be made, Clinton. We'll do that over half-time. For now, Sweden 0, Slovakia 0.
I'm not sure Ian Dennis will agree with you based on what you said earlier, Clinton. On the game, though, one shot on target. I mean, it's not been a festival of football so far, has it?
No, it hasn't, Emma. It's been a struggle. It's been a big struggle, to be fair. Both teams have struggled. Slovakia, I can understand. They'll take a draw now, and that's a good result for them. Sweden, I think, need the win. They need to be positive because their last game against Poland is going to be difficult. But they've not really created. They're missing that player who can go and create stuff. I think Forsberg is the one, but they can't get him into the game as much. And Slovakia are struggling with a number 9. Hamšík's a very good player. If you put Hamšík in that Sweden team, Sweden would be winning the game at this precise moment.
Former Sweden defender Jonas Olsson is back with us. Jonas, what did you make of that first 45?
I was poor, to be fair. I think Sweden needs to let loose a little bit. I think they're showing Slovakia too much of respect. I think, like Clinton is saying, Slovakia don't have any number 9. You can push up way higher. The problem is, I think Sweden are struggling on their right side. Slovakia's left side is very strong with Mark, particularly. I think, if you watch the game against Poland with Slovakia, they were really good on that side. So the problem is the Swedish midfield becomes tilted because Sebastian Larsson on the right wing, he needs to cover a lot of ground, which makes them really, really deep. So when they do repossess the ball, it's only Isak and Berg and possibly Forsberg up front. So I think they have to try and push higher up. There's no real threats in behind by Slovakia. The problem is the left wing. So push up. Don't worry about the space behind. Take the game to Slovakia's side, I think.
Emma, you know what I wanted to ask Jonas, if I could. If you look at Sweden's bench, who have you got that can come on and give you that bit of X factor to go and create something and maybe put the ball in the back of the net?
The problem is at midfield we're quite thin. Up front, you have options. You have Robin Quaison, who's a power forward. You have Jordan Larsson, the son of Henrik, who's a real striker. I think the problem at the moment is getting the ball up to the strikers. We saw it against Spain. We see it today again against Slovakia. The creativity on the midfield is not there, and I think it has to do a lot with the formation Sweden play. They play, a very 4-4-2 with the blocks. And the way other teams play today, almost every team, with 3 centre mids, it's going to mean you're one guy short. And I think you see almost like a fatigue with Christopher Olsen and Albin Ekdal, possibly for covering so much ground against Spain.
Jonas, just finally, do you expect this to open up then a little bit more in the second half, particularly from a Sweden point of view, given that at the moment they don't really have a point?
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think if you look at the last 20 minutes of the first half, it was very much Slovakia in control of the ball. And when the opponent is in control of the ball, Sweden is going to do what they always do. They're going to sit back. They're going to make it tight. They're going to be compact, make it difficult for Slovakia to play through the line. So I think we're going to see a similar second half. Of course, like Clinton is saying, Sweden needs the points more. But would it be a draw today? You still have a very good chance against Poland to push through.
Jonas, Clinton, thank you. We'll leave it there for now, but second half commentary on the way. At the break, it is currently goalless between Sweden and Slovakia. We're going to be dropping in at all the other live sport going on today very shortly as well. We've got some golf, tennis, horse racing and some cricket as time ticks on and we get closer and closer to kick off at Wembley a little bit later. So we'll be building up to England-Scotland as well. With it being Friday, if you're joining us to hear Commode and Mayo's film review, you can get the podcast now from BBC Sounds. This week they speak to director Ben Wheatley and review his new film In the Earth. Plus there's reviews of Luca, Monster Hunter and The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. You can also hear a shorter version of the programme later tonight at midnight here on 5 Live. Now though, let's get the news. Here's Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Lib Dems are celebrating their by-election win in Chesham and Amersham. Their candidate, Sarah Green, took the Conservative seat with a majority of 8,000. The party's leader, Ed Davey, has thanked supporters.
Liberal Democrats came here as the underdogs, but we campaigned hard and we are sending a shockwave through British politics. This was one of our best ever by-election results. I've been to a lot of by-elections over the years. I've seen some good results. This is a great result.
New data suggests a single dose of the Pfizer or AstraZeneca vaccines reduces the chances of going to hospital with COVID by around 75%. UK infections have risen slightly in the last week from 110,000 to 119,000. Wales is postponing any further easing of coronavirus restrictions for another 4 weeks because of a surge in the Delta variant. The Welsh Government hopes to give out another 500,000 vaccine doses during that time. Campaigners are criticising government plans to reform the justice system in England and Wales so that more rape cases go to court. Currently, only 1.6% of claims result in a charge. Kate Willis from the Centre for Women's Justice says a culture change is needed.
Some police officers even using the phrase "why bother" and talking about the fact that they feel reluctant to refer as many cases as they used to the CPS because the CPS seem so much less inclined to prosecute cases than they were a few years ago.
Food and drink exports from the UK to the EU have fallen by almost half in the first 3 months of the year. The decline's being put down to Brexit and the pandemic. And scientists have discovered the footprints of some of the last dinosaurs to have walked on UK soil 110 million years ago. They were found on the coast at Folkestone after a storm exposed new fossils in the area.
5 Live Breakfast.
149 years of history. England, Scotland, Scotland, England. I'm in Leicester Market, 700 years of history. You would have to live on another planet not to know that football's oldest rivalry continues at Wembley. It's the 150th time England and Scotland have met since 1872. A rivalry as old as the mountains.
48 wins for England in that history, 41 wins for Scotland. There's not that much in it, really, when you look back through the years. I'm in Glasgow. The sun is shining. The sky is pure powder blue above our heads. There's a buzz in the city. I felt it when I was out and about.
5 Live. This is the place to be. Exciting, compelling, irresistible football.
5 Live Breakfast. Back Monday morning from 6.
Euro 2020
on BBC Radio 5 Live.
Half time then in our first commentary of the day. It is goalless between Sweden and Slovakia, where there's gorgeous sunshine in St. Petersburg. Not quite the same conditions here on UK shores. The bad weather is playing its part when it comes to this afternoon's live sport. There'll be no play today at the inaugural Test Championship between India and New Zealand in Southampton. There was play, though, in Bristol this morning, where England are playing India in the one-off women's Test match. And Amy Lofthouse, the hosts are in control.
They are, and I'm pleased to say the rain stayed away so far. It's been quite a sedate start to the afternoon, with India reaching 47 for 1, still trailing England by 118 runs. It's a real contrasting style between these two batters. We've got the young Shafali Verma, who's hit some of the most glorious boundaries, and then her partner at the other end, Deepti Sharma, is doing her best to hold up play as much as she can to give India more time. She's actually just had a telling off from the umpires for holding up the play. But India are doing all they can to hang in there as they reach 47 for 1 under some, what I'm sad to say, are now increasingly dark clouds.
Thanks, Amy. Dark clouds over this afternoon's tennis. We've had some heavy rain on quarterfinals day at Queen's. No signs of the covers coming off as yet. 3 Brits, Dan Evans, Cameron Norrie and Jack Draper, are all hoping to book their place in the semi-finals. Players also delayed at the Women's Birmingham Classic, where Heather Watson will also be in quarter-final action. Day 4 of Royal Ascot is going ahead, but only after an inspection before racing. Our racing commentator John Hunt is at the course and has the latest, John.
Yeah, and despite pretty wintry conditions, if truth be told, Emma, our first race has just been secured, the Albany Stakes, by a horse called Sandrine, who has won for trainer Andrew Balding and jockey David Probert. Andrew enjoying his second winner of the week. He also won the other major 2-year-old race earlier in the week with Berkshire Shadow. He has 2 very interesting runners for Her Majesty the Queen tomorrow afternoon, and the strongly fancied Alcohol Free in today's feature race at 4:20, the Coronation Stakes. So Sandrine, the winner of our opening race, the Albany Stakes, that winner ridden by Welshman David Probert, only his second Royal Ascot winner and his first for 7 years.
John, thank you. It's not just sport in the UK that's been affected by the weather. Fog in San Diego yesterday meant 36 players failed to complete their first rounds at the US Open. Golf correspondent Ian Carter is with us again. Ian, it was a really eventful first day eventually when it got underway. A decent first day for some home players, but less so for Bryson DeChambeau.
Yes, that's right, Emma. A 2 over par 73 for the defending champion. But I think from a home perspective, perspective, some really very, very enjoyable performances. Richard Bland, 48 years of age, the recent winner of the British Masters, a 1 under par 70. And Rory McIlroy, for once, off to a good start to a major. He went to the turn in 2 under par. He dropped 3 shots on the way back, but then picked up a birdie at the last. He was sprinting to get finished in time because of the delays earlier in the day. And a 1 under par 70 has him nicely placed in a share of 12th place with, among others, Matt Fitzpatrick and Tyrrell Hatton. So yes, an incident-packed day. Phil Mickelson, so much expectation on him. A 4 over par opening round for him, so he's playing catch-up. And Brooks Koepka looking very dangerous at 2 under par, one of the earlier starters today.
Yeah, you mentioned it a few times there. Certainly an element of catch-up on day 2 then. What are you looking to see?
Well, first and foremost, how Louis Oosthuizen performs. He's just resumed and completed his 17th hole with a par on the 17th. So 1 hole to go. If he's able to birdie that par 5, he would take the first round lead. Currently at 4 under par alongside the American Russell Henley, who's also a morning starter. So that will be the first sort of port of call. Can Oosthuizen take the outright lead? And then I think a lot will centre around Brooks Koepka. Such a pedigree in US Opens, 2 times a winner, and currently at 2 under, just 2 shots off the lead.
Ian Carter, thank you. Ian and the 5 Live golf team will have live coverage of the second round over on Sports Extra from 10 o'clock tonight. For now, though, it's all about the football Euro 2020. We're continuing our build-up to England against Scotland. It's the first time that they've met in a men's major tournament since 1996, but it was only 2 years ago that the sides met in the Women's World Cup. The manager then was Shelley Kerr, and she joins us now. Hi, Shelley.
Good afternoon. I have to say, I'm listening to you guys about the weather. It's absolutely gorgeous in Scotland. 18 degrees it is. It's fantastic.
Oh, lovely. Well, you can enjoy the sunshine then before you head inside later, no doubt, to watch the game. We had your former player, Erin Cuthbert, with us earlier. She said the nerves are so much worse when you're a fan. She said she'd much rather be involved. Are you suffering from the same?
Yeah, I think it's worse as a fan, and the reason why is you can't control it. It's the same as a manager. You're on the touchline, and once you have that match day -1, all your preparation's done. The rest is up to the players. But as a fan, you've absolutely no control, and I think I'll be a fan tonight watching the game for sure.
It's massive. It feels like a cup final that we're building up to here on 5 Live. I mean, when you were the manager 2 years ago, did it feel different to all the other games that you have been involved with?
Yeah, I think it always does, especially the rivalry. But I think, for us, it was our first World Cup. So the magnitude of that in itself was huge for us as a group. And then you're playing, England, who at the time were one of the favourites to win the tournament. And I think it's very similar for tonight's game. I think England are one of the favourites. And I have to say that the talent, they've got a galaxy of stars in their team. I know there's been talk of some changes, personnel changes, but they could make so many changes. They've got such, depth in their squad, and Scotland, obviously, we're chasing our tails a little bit on the back of Monday's result against the Czech Republic. So it's going to be really, really tough for Scotland. But there's a lot of rivalry there, and hopefully, Scotland can get them back in contention, and the target always was to get out the group, but we've left ourselves a mountain to climb.
Just briefly, Shelley, Steve Clark was saying on the Daily Euros podcast, they have to get something out of this. For you, would you take a point? Is it all about getting all 3?
100%. You've got to be realistic. As Scottish supporters, we want to win, of course we do, but you've got to be realistic in terms of a fantastic, formidable lineup for England, regardless who they play. So for me, it is, if we can get a point, it would be a fantastic result for us.
All right, we'll leave it there. Shelley Kerr, thank you very much. Enjoy later on. Great to have Shelley Kerr here with us. But for now, we'll take you back to St. Petersburg. They've just kicked off once more. It's the first commentary of the day. Sweden against Slovakia. I'll hand you back to our team. Clinton Morrison alongside Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much, Emma. Back underway in St. Petersburg, still waiting for the opening goal of this game in Group E. Clinton, this better not be a stinker. This better not be a 0-0. We want goals in this second half. Do you think we'll get them?
I hope we get them. I'm optimistic. I'm always optimistic, Conor. So let's hope for more goals. No, let's hope for a goal, sorry. one goal will be good. Just one goal.
Let's not be greedy. Let's get one and see how we stand then. Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. No changes in personnel over half-time. Sweden wearing yellow. Forsberg picks out Isak. Good shot, good block. Excellent defending to put it out for a corner. That's a good start to the second half. That suggests we might have something to commentate on here. Isak shot on target. Skriniar sliding across, putting it out for the corner.
It's great defending. Good touch from Forsberg. He just looks like he don't catch it cleanly enough, but good defending from Skriniar.
Already the second half is better than the first was. Right.
Yes.
Corner the right-hand side. Isak waiting inside the penalty area. Marcus Berg. An obvious target standing inside the 6-yard box as the cross comes in from Larsson. Berg tries to flick it onto the front post. Forsberg from the edge of the penalty area hits it. Now he's appealing it, clipped a defender on the way through. The referee says no, and that goes out wide. We're going to see a replay here.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it did. That
should have been a corner. Should have shaved his hair, but yeah, just clipped the top of his hair. But yeah, it's a good start from Sweden though, Connor. Very good start. I think that chance of Isak is a big opportunity because Forsberg is a good touch. I think he doesn't. If he tries to beat the back cut on his near post, I don't think he gives Skriniar the opportunity to block, but it's still good defending.
Slovakia, who started this game top of Group E after beating Poland in their opening game. If they can win this match, they will be qualified for the last 16. Sweden under a little bit more pressure, but that said, I think before the tournament, if you told them they could draw with Spain going into that second game, boy, they would have taken that. These second and third matches in the group are the important ones for Sweden. That's why there is a lot of tension around this particular game in very warm temperatures in St. Petersburg. Larsson and Hubachan, two experienced players challenging for the ball together there. Neither of them got a touch. Both claims they were fouled. The referee isn't interested in either of those appeals and says it's not a free kick, it's a throw-in, which Mikael Lustig has just taken for Sweden. Tries to play a 1-2 with Larsson. Larsson tries to cross and it goes out for a corner. Strong start this to the second period for Sweden.
Just how they started the first half, Connor, but a bit more on the front foot, creating chances and getting into wide areas, and Larsson in particular on the right-hand side, trying to get balls into the box.
Nielsen plays in China with the Dallin club. He was signed by Rafa Benitez for them. He is up in the penalty area. Isak, who is this young kid, but he's a tall frame as well. He's a target. Seb Larsson, can he produce a decent delivery from the right-hand side? Raises his left hand as a signal. Sends it in. Good delivery. Kutska with an important header for Slovakia will force it out of the penalty area. Forsberg collects for Sweden. And they hold on to possession inside their opponent's half. However, they turn, they retreat. Augustinsson goes all the way back to Robin Olsen, who had the whole pitch to himself away to the right-hand side. So a reminder of the teams. Robin Olsen in goal for Sweden. Flat back four, Mikael Lustig, once of Celtic. Victor Lindelof of Manchester United. Marcus de Nielsen. Ludvig Augustinsson. Then in midfield, right to left, Seb Larsson. Christopher Olsen, who was booked in that first half. Olben Ekdal and Emil Forsberg. And then up front, the two of Marcus Berg and Alexander Isak. Here comes Slovakia on the attack with Robert Mack, left-hand side, scoops it across, which I thought took a deflection, and it came off the arm of Larsson, but it was in by his side. It's going to be a corner. Corner to Slovakia on the left-hand side.
It's been a much better start to both teams in the second half, Connor. So both coaches must have said first half wasn't good enough. Let's try and get this all-important first goal in this game.
Just saw the replay. It wasn't the arm of Larsson, it was the foot of Lustig, which he raised up at an awkward angle. Let us put the ball out for this corner. Mack will take it. In swinging delivery. Danielson gets a touch on it, but Kutska will keep things alive on the attack for Slovakia. Back to Pickerick. Infield to Duda, just outside the penalty. Great first touch. He's found a bit of space. He shoots and it's just too high. Lovely dancing feet from Andre Duda, but he just couldn't keep the shot down.
Yeah, it was good play from Duda. It goes past Berg like he's not there and moves it in. And you're thinking he's always stretching, he's leaning back there. There's a good opportunity there to work the goalkeeper. But yeah, good play again from Slovakia.
Chances at both ends in these opening minutes of the second half. There was only one shot on target in the entire first half, and even that was a little dribbler from Seb Larsson that wasn't troubling the keeper.
How can they count that as a shot? It was a back pass, wasn't it?
It's one of these, technically, if it's hit by someone and it is going towards the goal, it counts as an attempt to goal, but frankly, no chance. Isak wins a flick on for Sweden. Satka, though, for Slovakia is able to clear it away. Forsberg goes to ground. To be fair to him, doesn't make a big song and dance about it. Bounces back up to his feet and runs in to put pressure on Pickering. That's brilliant work rate from Forsberg. That's what Sweden need to see a little bit more of.
Yeah, I think you set the pattern and the tone. You start working hard, it has a knock-on effect for everyone, and it gets the fans going, because it seems like there's a lot of Sweden fans in the stadium as well.
Before that draw against Spain, Sweden had won their previous 5 games in a row between the World Cup qualifiers in March, the warm-up games for this tournament. They're a difficult team to score against, and they are yet to concede so far at Euro 2020. 5 minutes into the second half, Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. Throw in for the Swedes with Lustig on the right-hand side, close to the halfway line. Throw it short. Receive the ball back again from Seb Larsson. Larsson then turns and rolls it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Robert Olsen. I wonder where Olsen will be playing next season. Everton, of course, have had much transition of their own over the summer. His loan deal has expired with Roma. He'd be happy being second fiddle to Pickford anyway for much longer. Here comes Augustinsson, crosses from the left-hand side into the penalty area, but Slovakia are able to clear the ball away. Lubomir Shatka with good clearance to get it out for a throw-in near the halfway line.
It's good play again though from Sweden. They have come out. Augustin, the left back, puts a good ball into the box, but it just seems every time the ball comes in the box, it's a Slovakia defender that always gets there first. But very good play again from Isak again, starting that move.
This is Slovakia's second European Championship appearance. They made their debut as an independent nation in 2016. They have defending to do here. Forsberg into Isak. Oh, he wasn't able to get onto it. It was a ball that seemed to be dangling tantalisingly in front of him, but he couldn't force his way on. He had to run out to the wing in order to allow the ball past his body and keep control of it. I wonder, did Isak anticipate that, Clinton, as well as he might have done?
Yeah, I think he tried to let the ball run across him, and I just think it had too much pace. I thought he was just going to come on and volley it. It was a good ball from Forsberg, but they're the two most likely for Sweden, Forsberg and Isak. They're the ones in the second half that have started really well.
Slovakia have finished the first half the better, but now under pressure. 0-0 it remains. I was just saying there about how as an independent nation they went to Euro 2016. Of course, in the past, Slovakia have got a very proud Euros history. They were part of the old Czechoslovakia who won the Euros in 1976. Slovakia were very well represented in that team too. Of the 11 players that started the final for Czechoslovakia in 76, 3 of them were Czechs and 8 of them were from Slovakia. So although they are, inverted commas, a new name in the international football scene, actually they are from very good stock. Here is Oroshovsky playing an accurate ball over to Tomas Hubachan on the left-hand side. Hubachan, who well over a year ago now announced his international retirement, and they gave him the big send-off and the framed jerseys on the pitch and the whole lot. And then the new manager came in and said, do you want to come back playing again? And he's been brought in from the
so will they do that again when he retires again?
It's more comebacks than Frank Sinatra.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Jan Andersson, the Swedish coach, takes a swig from a bottle of water. Looks like a friendly school teacher, does Jan Andersson. You wouldn't be intimidated going into him for the parent-teacher meeting as the header away
like
from Marcus Danielson. Slovakia hold on to possession inside their own half. Peter Pickering, plenty of experience from the Bundesliga. He has had to be very disciplined in his performance today against Emil Forsberg, who's been as lively as any of the Swedish players in this game so far. Still 0-0. A game crying out for the opening goal. I'm sure we are going to have plenty of goals later on today. Croatia against Czech Republic. Every time Sheik gets it in his own half, the crowd will be shoot. And England against Scotland later on at 8 o'clock, and we'll have all the build-up to that.
Connor, you were saying about Sweden plays for Juventus. Is he exciting in him? Really
Kulusevski.
Yeah.
So they spent, when he was still a teenager, they spent €35 million to sign him. He broke into the team at Juve this season. He played 47 games. So he's 21, or he was 20 through the season. He's just turned 21. So to play 47 games at 20 for Juventus, you know he's good.
He must have some good pedigree.
Scored and assisted in the Coppa Italia final in May, and that's why it's a surprise. Why isn't he in this team?
That's what I'm trying to say. Obviously, you just said he's come back from obviously COVID, but surely you're going to want to see him on his pitch this afternoon with the way the game's going for sure.
Yeah. Just I think the reason that he was missing out, it was the COVID contact issue. It wasn't that he himself.
Yeah, it was
he
the
was
contact
in a thing.
issue.
He could wait to have a test.
Well, then what? He should be playing then, Connor. You're right.
That's the point, you know. Mattias Svanberg is not named amongst the substitutes today, and he was another who was waiting on results of a COVID test, so maybe his results haven't come back the way he wanted. I mean, we don't know, that they can only name 23 of the 26 anyway. Kulusevski, who surely we have to see at some stage, missed the game against Spain. He'll be itching to get on. Isak gives it to Forsberg just on the edge of the penalty area, and he just ran out of room. Decent build-up, but no finish on the end of it for Sweden.
You can see it's them two. If Sweden are most likely to, is Isak and Forsberg. They're the two that are making things happen. So they're the two that Sweden are trying to look for to play that interchange passes on the edge of the box, and they look really lively in the second half so far.
There's Forsberg, anyway, inside the Slovakia half. They're playing from right to left as we look down Sweden. Bright yellow Swedish shirts, and always great colour at any big tournament that the Swedes go to. You can spot their fans a million miles away. Them and the Dutch, you're never in any doubt. It's never like, I wonder what team they're supporting. Instantly you know. As the ball is played back to Robin Olsen. 31 in January today, his 46th cap for Sweden. His clearance above the halfway line is won by the head of Milan Skriniar. Isak challenges Hubichan. Hubichan holds him off, plays it up over the halfway line. Controlled by Robert Mack. Great movement to take the ball and spin forward, and Lustig was struggling there, and he trips Robert Mack, and it's a free kick to Slovakia midway inside Swedish territory. Still 0-0.
Yeah, good turn from Mack, and we haven't seen as much of Mack as we saw it the other day, but he still looks lively on that left-hand side, and he can cause Lustig a lot of problems. So if I'm Slovakia, I'm just getting in the ball to Mack and saying, go and take him on.
The other name who we associate with Slovakia football is not in the squad is the former Liverpool player Martin Skrtel. He was another who came out of international retirement for the playoffs in November, but he hasn't made the 26-man squad for this tournament. Free kick to Slovakia. Marek Hamšík, their talisman, stands over it. Can he provide some good delivery? Skriniar's up 3 goals in his last 4 international games. Kucka's header, brilliant save by Robin Olsen. That's the save of the match so far. Juraj Kucka, who has had some really good chances. I don't know if it would have counted, Clinton. Was he offside anyway?
Yeah, he was offside. He just
but
gone
the keeper didn't know that. What a save.
It's a great save. A great ball in from Hamšík. A great header. But what a save that is from Olsen. Again, and it's not that he saves it, he parries it over the bar as well. Kind of strong hand. But yeah, Kucka just went a bit early. But they are a threat from set pieces, Slovakia.
Just a little reminder for Sweden of the threat that Slovakia can pose. But 0-0 it remains. It has been a better second half. I mean, I'm not for any moment suggesting this is a thriller, but compared to a dull opening 45 minutes, at least we've got a lot more goal-mouth action now.
It could only get better though. It couldn't get any worse.
Every tournament throws one up, Clinton. I hope this isn't going to be the one. I remember 3 years ago in Russia, myself and Dio Dublin did France against Denmark, which ultimately proved to be the only 0-0 draw of the entire tournament. We nearly fell asleep by the end. It was dreadful. But this at least has the promise of goals. Lustig on to Isak, just outside the penalty area. Chance to cross on the right-hand side. Seb Larsson delivers it in. Good header, Augustinsson, saved by Dubravka. 2 good headers at either end, 2 very good saves at either end, in a game that's just beginning to simmer now.
Oh, it's a great save from Dubravka. Unbelievable save. Augustin does everything well. Right, and Dubravka's going the other way. I still know it's in the middle of the goal, but to get his reflex and to tip it over the bar, it's a fantastic save. But this game has livened up for sure, Conor.
Absolutely. Dubravka's coming back across the goal. Augustinsson tries to put it back into the side that the keeper is coming from. And even though it is a central header and he didn't quite tuck it in the corner, and that still needed a very good reaction save from Martin Dubravka. So the goalkeepers playing their part here, keeping this game 0-0 for now. It's a corner to Sweden from the right-hand side. Seb Larsson out in the sunshine, prepares to take it. A lot of Swedish fans behind that goal. They're attacking in the second half. Here it comes. High delivery. Isak jumps, wins the header, and Dan Nielsen puts it wide. He's only 3 yards out. He's got to score there. What a chance for Sweden.
It's a great opportunity. Isak does ever so well, knocks it, and he's 6 yards out to Nielsen, and he hits the top of his head. Instead of heading it down, he heads it over the bar. It's a great opportunity. That's 2 golden opportunities now Sweden have created in the last couple of minutes.
Defender's header for Marcus Danielsson.
I'm glad you said it. I was thinking it, Conor.
He's got a decent enough record. He's only got 10 caps before today, Danielsson. He's got 3 international goals, so that's not bad going from centre half. However, he couldn't keep that one down with the goal at his mercy. Hamšík for Slovakia. Can they get it down the other end? Good work by Albin Ekdal to win it back for Sweden in the midfield. He's got Lustig Back behind him, Mikael Lustig, who will be 35 next birthday. Looks like he takes care of himself, still looks very fit. The former Celtic right back, he's been playing in Belgium in recent years, but he's back in Sweden these days. Today his 92nd international cap, and he's on the ball again. At the moment, rolling it into Victor Lindelof. Lindelof will come over the halfway line as Slovakia retreat, and he drops the shoulder, Lindelof, and he comes forward again, and he's got Forsberg, who wasn't quite ready to receive the pass but gets it back a second time. Isak, chance to shoot, takes a deflection, and Dubravka's relieved to see it wide to the post. Isak's warming up into the game now too. It's a corner to Sweden.
Yeah, it was a good block from defending from Skrin. Yeah, it was Skriniar, deflects it wide because it was going on target there.
Defending by Skriniar, getting his body in the way. It's a long way out from Isak. It would need it to be struck perfectly. He wasn't struck badly at all. That would have troubled Dubravka had it not been for that deflection off the backside of Milan Skriniar. Corner to Sweden. Left hand side as they come forward. Forsberg with the blonde hair sends it in. Hubichan's header gets it out of the penalty area on the far side but doesn't fully clear away, and in fact Ekdal is happy to allow the ball continue rolling and rolling because he knows it is going out for a throw-in to Sweden on the right hand side. Sweden 0, Slovakia 0 in Group E.
I think Sweden are about to make a double substitution as well, Conor.
It needs it, doesn't it, Clint? To be fresh blood. Yeah. It's a game that needs to be livened up just a little bit. It is improving, but we need that opening goal. Sweden create it here. Throw in on the right hand side, level with the edge of the penalty area, and a long arched throw into the penalty area, flicked on by Danielson, but he can't pick out a teammate. Slovakia sitting deep here, they clear the ball away, but Christopher Olsen has got a lot of time to himself, and he's got the support of Augustinsson, who launch it left-footed into the penalty area. Danielson has stayed forward, maybe a high leg, play on to the referee. They'll come back and look at this if it ends up in the goal. Referee blows the whistle anyway because Seb Larsson was offside, but I think if they had scored there, that would have come back for a high leg and a free kick to Slovakia.
Yeah, Skriniar's not happy with the referee because he's saying even though he's ducked into it, he thinks it's a high boot, but I don't think the linesman gives that. I think he gives it for offside to Seb Larsson.
This is 5 Live for the BBC. This game taking place in St. Petersburg. A 2 o'clock kickoff. And we still await the opening goal with Croatia against the Czech Republic to come at 5. England against Scotland live on 5 Live from 8 o'clock. Don't forget to check out the Daily Euros podcast. It comes out every day during the tournament. Search on BBC Sounds and you'll get all the inside information from the England, Wales and Scotland camps, all the interviews, all the analysis, the Daily Euros. Right, let's have these changes then. First up, Victor Claesson is going to come on for Christopher Olsen. Olsen, who's carrying a yellow card in the game, so that makes sense. Midfielder for a midfielder, Clinton.
Yeah, and I think the other ones, I think it's a striker, so it must be bad. Yeah, it's bad.
Chris Berg, 24 international goals in the past, but he now makes way, and it's going to be a very youthful attack now for Sweden. Alexander Isak will be joined by Robin Quaison. Quaison is an exciting attacker, very much in the mould of Isak. They're similar players. They've taken off the big target man. Let's see if this can improve the Sweden attack. Double change. Still 0-0. Change as well for Slovakia. Lucas Vaslin, who started the opening game against Poland, he will come on in place of Peter Pickerick. Now this is interesting. Pickerick is the right back, and the man who's coming on to replace him is a right winger. So that suggests that Slovakia are going to go for this.
I think Koscielnik's going to go back to right back. It looks like, yeah, he's gone to right back. But it is attacking, Conor. You are right, because that's a right winger playing right back.
He plays his club football in Italy. Sassuolo. So new look attack for the Swedes. The new look right-hand side of defence for Slovakia. The clock ticks on. 25 minutes to play in St. Petersburg. Victor Lindelof allowed creep up towards the centre circle. Rolls the ball to his left to Danielson. His short ball. Steenson finds it difficult to control. He's got a player climbing all over him. It's Koscielnik. Koscielnik gives away the free kick for Sweden near the halfway line. Sweden take it quickly. This is Victor Lindelof inside the centre circle. To his right-hand side, Seb Larsson. Still no introduction of Kulusevski, the Juventus player. Surely we'll get to see him before the end. Kucka allows the ball to bounce. Hamsik, excellent close touch control under pressure. Gets that on the deck. Rolls it out to the right-hand side to Koscielny. Koscielny, who has dropped in as the right back. He'll give it in field to Shatka, back again to the goalkeeper, Martin Dubravka. If you're just joining our coverage here on 5 Live, Dubravka's had to make one exceptional save in the second half. Really good. Down the other end, his opposite number, Robin Olsen, made a good save as well. Mind you, that one wouldn't have counted if Sweden managed to step up and catch Slovakia offside. Hamsik plays an accurate ball towards Kucka. Back to Koscielny at right back. Wayward pass from him will give away possession. A bit scrappy at the moment from Slovakia in particular. Larsson looks to be playing a more central role actually since Klaassen has come on. Klaassen is now playing as the right winger. Seb Larsson is playing in the centre of midfield. Alexander Isak comes in the attack for Sweden. Forsberg twisting and turning, finding it so difficult to work any room. Duda is working hard in defence for Slovakia as Lustig crosses from the right hand side. Isak gets up and his header is only just over the top. That was a really good header, inches over. Sweden so close to their opening goal.
It's a great header because the balling from Lustig is really high. It's not like it's whipped him, Connor. It's like a bit floaty with a bit of pace on it, but Isak jumps ever so well. It just goes onto the roof of the net, but they are knocking on the door now, Sweden.
Even with Berg having left the field, Isak continues to add that aerial threat. Grayson was right beside him too if that had spilled to him. Are we to have a goal in this game in the final quarter of the match? By the way, Sweden also have Jordan Larsson on the bench, who plays with Spartak Moscow. Larsson, a very famous name in Swedish football. His dad is Henrik Larsson. He's a young player who has definitely benefited from the extension of the number allowed in the squads. You know, for 23, I don't think Jordan Larsson would have made it, but with a 26-man squad, he's in there. Grayson plays Germany. Alexander Isak, Real Sociedad player who's done so well for the last 12 months or so in Spain. In La Liga in May voted him the young player of the season. You think how many talented youngsters play in La Liga? That is a wonderful accolade for him. Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. Koscielny. His position wearing white boots on the halfway line. So 1-2 with Vaslin. Hold on to it but retreat back to the defenders. Shatka. Milian Skriniar scored an own goal in the 87th minute of the playoff final against Northern Ireland. That's what forced that game into extra time. And it didn't go to the penalty kicks. Slovakia were able to win it in the additional 30 minutes. Added on. Marek Hamsik back to Koscielny. Slovakia seeing more of the ball but not really going anywhere here. They're just passing around their own half. They've got the opening day win, of course. Straw could even be enough to put them into the last 16, depending how the other game finishes tomorrow. Crossfield ball is meant for Haraslan and goes out of play. So the subs have come on. There's been a couple of changes, but still, this is a game that is refusing to thrill us, Clinton Morrison.
It sure is, and it's refusing to give us a goal. As I say, we don't want a draw, but no, we want a goal at least in this game. But no, I think Sweden have made positive changes, and they're the most likely at this precise moment. Slovakia are just in a good shape, and Sweden are finding it really hard to break them down.
Slovakia. Now that's good. He's made a burst from right back. He's gone way into the Swedish half, and he's been fouled by Danielsson. Oh, I thought that was a foul. Referee says no, play on.
He's let a lot of things go, Connor, the referee. He has let a lot of things go, that's for sure.
Daniel Siebert from Germany is the man who's in charge. Overall, Clinton, the quality of the officialing has been very good at this tournament.
It's been excellent, and the VAR, I may say, it's been excellent. They've made the decisions quickly. It hasn't took 10-15 minutes like we've seen in the Premier League a lot. And maybe I'm over-exaggerating, but a long time in the Premier League. They've done this really well, and VAR, it proves it does work. If you can get it right, it does work, Connor.
That's it, and I do know, many leagues in Europe adopted VAR ahead of England, so maybe there's just a bit of catching up to do. But people have spoken about the quality of refereeing. These are the best referees in Europe. It makes sense. Of course it does. Hamsik on the right-hand side plays the ball into Duda for Slovakia. There'll always be contentious decisions. I'm sure between now and the end of the tournament there'll be some refereeing decision that we all massively disagree with, but in the main it's been really, really good, and it's helped the tournament to flourish.
Everyone makes mistakes though, Connor. That's what I mean. These referees, it's a hard job, but you're right. At the moment, referees have done an excellent job.
This mag handshake as he got a bit of magic in those moves. Up to the feet of Duda. Duda, who's close touch control, lets him down for once. Mind you, he did it. Victor Lindelof breathing down his neck as he received possession there. Ludvig Augustinsson fancies a run here, takes on Duda. Duda looked like he fouled him in recovering. Referee acknowledges that, but waves play on because Isak has possession for Sweden. He goes hurtling over 2 challenges, and then Kutska tries to chop him in half with another challenge. McCann, he's still going. This would be one of the goals of the tournament. Isak shoots and it's saved by Dubravka. That would have been so special. Do you know what that reminded me of? Italia 90, Claudio Caniggia had been jumped in half by the camera. They kept trying to tackle him and he just kept jumping over the challenges, and his shot was good in the end, but from the edge of the penalty area, Dubravka makes the save.
It's a good save from Dubravka. He's not getting beaten at his near post, but a run from Isak, you're right, it does remind you of Caniggia when he's half falling down, stumbling. He managed to stand on his feet and obviously scored that time. But it's brilliant play from Isak, and in the second half he's been the better player. He's come up, he wants the ball, he wants to make things happen, and he is a bright spot for Sweden, that's for sure.
Sweden 0, Slovakia 0. But I love about Isak is 99% of players would have gone down there. Free kick have been fouled. He wanted to keep his feet.
It would have been up there with one of the goals of the tournament. I know Shakes is the goal probably at this precise moment, but that would have been sheer brilliance for the way he's beat 2 or 3 players and stayed on his feet. Very unlucky. Good play though.
I mentioned the sweltering temperatures in St. Petersburg, up to almost 30 degrees centigrade now. The referee spotting that, the heat, the effect it's having on the players. He has just ordered a drinks break, so you're not missing any live action here on 5 Live. A reminder that we've got Croatia against the Czech Republic coming up at 5 o'clock. Alistair Bruce Paul and Chris Sutton at Hampden Park for that one. And then the build up to England against Scotland, which we will be all over here on 5 Live. John Murray along with Chris Waddle in the commentary box. Pat Nevin's going to be positioned down at pitch side behind one of the goals. He'll be able to give a very unique perspective from there, but it's going to be a great noise, great action. Apparently lots of rain in London today, and it'll be interesting to see what effect that has on the I'm just trying to think. I've seen every game. I don't know if I've seen absolutely every game, but has there been a game in the rain at this tournament yet, Clinton? They all seem to be played in the sunshine.
Brilliant weather in all the countries that obviously have been having the games. It's been brilliant, but yeah, today could be the first one. Typical, isn't it?
Typical.
England,
Scotland on a British summer's day in the rain. Right, Sweden are going to make a change here as they try to liven things up, looking for what would be their first win of the tournament after the opening 0-0 draw against Spain. They won't want another 0-0 here. They're going to bring on Pierre Bengtsson. So Benson is getting ready to come on. The 4th official is struggling with the board here
He says he needs the board. I think you have to give your own board, and the Sweden guy who's meant to do the numbers.
Yeah, there's some administration error about putting the right numbers onto the board that is holding up and delaying that substitution that the Sweden want to make. But Bengtsson is a defender, so it'll be interesting to see what change they are contriving there. Victor Klassen gets a touch, plays his club football in Russia, so he'll be very familiar and comfortable with the surroundings here in St. Petersburg. Sweden with possession. Forsberg, number 10 on his back, dropping deep near the halfway line and rolling it in to the feet of Alban Ekdal, who plays with Sampdoria under Claudio Ranieri in Italy. Seb Larsson on the right hand side of the midfield, back into Ekdal. Once again, this is Lindelof who comes forward out of defence, and in turn he's encouraging Danielsson to come forward. So they really are pushing up here, Sweden now, forcing Slovakia to sit deep on the edge of their own penalty area. Isak to the right hand side to Lustig, back into Seb Larsson. This is controlled possession for Sweden, but can they find the killer ball? That's not a bad one from Lindelof to pick out Forsberg on the edge of the penalty area. And now Augustinsson is put under pressure by Raslin, and Sweden are forced back to the centre circle once again. They are comfortable in the ball at the moment, but can they break the lock? Can they prize their way into a shooting position? Quasid, who's come on, has not seen anywhere near as much of the ball as Isak, his strike partner at the moment. Little flick on there though, and here is Quasid, and out comes the goalkeeper. Now this could be a penalty. It's a penalty to Sweden. The game about to be livened up. It's been a slow burner, but Quasid, who we just said Sweden were struggling to get him involved in the game, one good ball into the penalty area. He was onto it quick as a flash. Out came Dubravka. Quasid got the touch, goalkeeper. Any collision from then on, he's going to be in trouble. He goes into the book. A yellow card for Dubravka, a penalty for Sweden.
It's brilliant from Quaison because Isak puts it around the corner. Any other player on the pitch can't get there, and Dubravka, because he's so quick, Quaison, Dubravka thinks he can get there, but Quaison gets there before him, and it's a penalty. I said it straight away, and it's a big opportunity for Forsberg.
Yeah, this is interesting because in their warm-up game against Armenia ahead of this tournament, Sweden got a penalty, and Seb Larsson took it, and he missed it. And he was asked the coach Jan Andersson about this in the build-up, and he said, no, it's not necessarily going to be Larsson. I've left it to the players to decide who can take the penalty. And obviously, Emil Forsberg is the player who has nominated himself for this huge responsibility now. Vladimir Weiss, once of Manchester City and Rangers and Bolton, is on for Slovakia. He's taken the place of Robert Mack with a good first half, but more quiet in the second period. The German goalkeeper Daniel Siebert is having a word with Dubravka, and I'm sure what he's saying to Clinton is, you stay on that line. If you come off your goal line, even if you save it, we're going to have to take again. 5 live from the BBC, St. Petersburg the venue. This game is about to get very interesting, because Emil Forsberg, who has scored 9 international goals in the past, has a short run up and he scores! Dubravka chose the right way, but it's perfectly tucked into the corner. It's a really cool, calm, confident penalty, and Sweden leads Slovakia by a 1-0.
It's a great penalty because Dubravka goes the right way, so you have to get enough pace on it to beat him, and he does it ever so well. He puts it right in the corner, into the bottom corner, and we've got that goal, and it's what Sweden deserve in the second half, because they have kept on pushing and pushing, and I think the fresh legs and the 2 young boys up front have been a threat since he's come on, Quaison, and obviously Isak was brilliant with the flick round the corner to him.
He is the man for the big moment, Emil Forsberg. He scored the goal that put Sweden into the World Cup quarter-finals 3 years ago. I mean, Dubravka, he couldn't have done any better there. He chose the right side. He was diving at the right angle. But when it's tucked in the corner like that, no goalkeeper in the world is going to keep it out.
It's fantastic. It's a great penalty, great finish. And then you know what? I think Slovakia have took off Hamšík and Mack, you know. I think they might have took him off. I saw him when that penalty was walking around the pitch. Yeah, they have took him off, Connor.
So, this is interesting. There's Slovakia, who got that opening game win. Taken off Hamšík, they put on Benez. I already told you about Vladimir Weiss coming on in place of Mack. Well, Hamšík, who was carrying a knee injury into the tournament, and he was never going to play the full 90 minutes of every game, but in these circumstances now, 1-0 down, 12 minutes to play in St. Petersburg, that is a blow for Slovakia to be without their most talented player.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if it's an injury. I just feel they can't get possession of the ball. They were defending, and they were going to make these changes anyway, but I'm surprised now they've took him off, especially when they need a goal to get back into it, because he's the one who can create something.
Laszlo Benes has come on of Augsburg. This is club football in Germany. Sweden will be delighted with this. They had the white knuckle ride against Spain of hanging on, and Robert Olsen performing heroics and miracles in goal, but they got that draw against the heavily fancied Spanish, and now they've got a lead against Slovakia, and Sweden are looking at having 4 points from their opening 2 games, which they would have been absolutely delighted with pre-tournament. Kostelnik crosses for Slovakia. Olsen for a moment was uncertain. It was a cross that he was worried was going to drop into the far top corner, but fortunately for him it glides wide of the post, and it will be a goal kick.
Connor, look at those pictures. There's not one person in the box wanting to attack. It's frustrating me. Being sitting here as an ex-striker, I'm thinking just stay in the box and get chances. You're a goal down at the moment. Get in the box. Ball's coming in on the right-hand side. There's not one player attacking the ball.
Well, this is the problem, and people spoke about it in the build-up to the tournament. When you don't have, of course, if you've got Robert Lewandowski, it's different, but they don't have that sort of striker. They do have Robert Bolshenik, who's a forward with Feyenoord, but he's only a young player, 21 years of age. Slovakia do not have a recognised, experienced striker in their squad. That's what they've had to make do with, either playing wingers up there or playing number 10s up there. And it's moments like that, Clinton, when crosses come in and no one's attacking it, and you can see the folly of that particular enterprise.
Yeah, definitely. And Duda there, he's not happy if the referee says something out of turn, gets a book and gives away a needless free kick because he thinks he should have the free kick. Won't argue the referee, get in the box and score goals, mate.
Duda booked. Slovakia frustrated. 10 minutes to play. Depending how the other game of the group goes, this might even be enough for Sweden has got Sweden in front of this game, and Slovakia, I'm not sure if they're convincing me, Clinton, that they've got an equaliser in them.
No, they're not convincing me. I don't think they have got an equaliser in them. I think this afternoon they basically, I'm not saying they came for a draw, but I think they would have took a point without a shadow of doubt because of the positive performance they had in the first game against Poland. But they haven't really created anything on the go in the second half. And Sweden have been the team pushing to get this win.
England against Scotland to come later on tonight on 5 Live. Croatia against Czech Republic. Before all of that, here is Alexander Isak winning possession, skipping away for the first challenge, bulldozing his way through the second. He's got support if he needs it. Isak only with eye for goal himself, and then the chance in the end is popped up in front of one of his teammates arriving into the penalty area, but Slovakia got defenders back. He did brilliant initially there, Clinton Isak, but he's selfish in the end. He should have laid it off, surely.
Yeah, he should have laid it off to his strike partner. He was there. You know what? It's because he's done ever so well in the build-up play before that. He's brilliant. He burst past 2 players because he is an exciting player, Connor, but he has to roll it to his strike partner, who will have an opportunity to have a shot against Dubravka.
If he just rolled it in front of Quayson, he'd have had the goal at his mercy. As it was Klaassen who took the shot in the end, but by then the defenders were back. Ekdal tries a volley on the edge of the penalty area from the resulting corner. Skriniar clears away for Slovakia. Slovakia, even if they lose this, they'll still be in it going into the final game. The problem for them is that final game is very difficult indeed when they will face Spain on Wednesday. If they could get an equaliser here and a point, that would make that job so much easier. It may even be enough to put them through, as Hubachan sprints out and does really well against Seb Larsson. I didn't think he was favoured to get the ball there, but he was more determined. Is there a late second breeze from Slovakia as they win a free kick near the centre circle? Albin Ekdal's challenge and a free kick to Slovakia. The clock ticks on, 7 minutes to go.
Better second half, Connor. I think it's been a much better second half, in particular from Sweden. We said at half-time who wants to go and, grab this game by the scruff of the neck, and Sweden certainly have.
Here they come. Slovakia, Rasslin on the right-hand side. Chelnin back to the halfway line. Vladimir Weiss, who's come on as the substitute, trying to get involved, floating around. There's Duda, the bleach blonde hair, onto Laszlo Benes. Good build-up here as they work a bit of space for Koscielnik on the right-hand side, but he doesn't fancy crossing it into the box. He goes backwards to Vladimir Weiss. That's an excellent ball from Weiss. And now Haraslin's into the penalty area. Cruyff turn, back to Vladimir Weiss, doesn't shoot first time. He didn't have the luxury of taking a touch there, and in any event it wouldn't have counted anyway. The offside flag was raised when the ball was played to Haraslin. He was just coming back from an offside position.
Yeah, you're thinking when Haraslin gets into that position, maybe he can flash it back across. But then again, he's setting it back to Vladimir Weiss with so much pace, Connor. Vladimir Weiss can't get a shot away, so he was offside anyway. So Vladimir Weiss was not happy though.
Right, more changes laid on for Slovakia. Mihail Duric is coming on, plays his club football in Cyprus with Ammonia. It's going to be a double change here. They're taking full advantage of being able to have 5 substitutes. David Hansko will come on in as well. Throw of the dice at the end of this game from Slovakia as they desperately seek an equaliser, but time is very much running out on them. They've just got just over 5 minutes to go. Sweden 1, Slovakia 0. Sweden all in yellow, playing from right to left as we look down. Looking good now with Quayson and Isak. It's an exciting partnership. They've got youthful energy between the two of them. Augustinson down the left-hand side has a little trick which buys him a little bit of space, but then the cross is disappointing. It was behind Kieson in the middle, and it's a chance for Slovakia to come out of defence with Hansko, who's just come on as a substitute, driving them up towards the halfway line, but he rushes his pass and he gives possession back to Sweden, who lead 1-0. Clinton Morrison.
You know, Quayson and Isak, if I'm the Swedish fans and the rest of that's the front two I would want to start. They're young, energetic, they cause problems, they got pacing behind. I know the manager Anderson loves Burke, and I know his experience will be valuable, but these two are just fresh, and they've got no care in the world, and they've come. Obviously, Quayson's come on and he's done ever so well to get the penalty. Isak's been their best player. He's caused all sorts of problems, in particular in the second half.
Mihail Duric has replaced Andre Dudas. The former Norwich City man has been taken off, not been able to be as effective as he wanted in that false 9 role. Duric will try and operate as more of a traditional attacker, whereas midfield possession is with Slovakia, and they work it out to the far side. Chance for Vladimir Weiss to come in field. He'll roll the ball off to Dorish. Comes back again. Sweden can't have enough players back behind the ball here. Koselnik, low cross in towards the front post. There was a good surge to try and get there from Benes, but he can't get the ball. And Augustinsson puts it out for a corner. It's a late spell of pressure from Slovakia as they tried to grab a point with an equaliser here.
Yeah, it's good defending at the near post. Really good defending, but could it be the Skriniar time? Could it be Connor? Because he is coming up.
Form he's been on lately. 3 goals in his last 4 internationals. You wouldn't bet against him. And Skriniar, who his first 37 caps, he didn't score any at all, and now he's got 3 goals in 4 games. He's bouncing up and down to the edge of the penalty area, trying to find some room. Ball is played in by Dorish. Oh, it sits up. Oh, almost a chance for Benes. He tries to shoot. It still won't sit up. They try to go again, and somehow the ball is cleared away. And the referee's whistle is come out as a relief for Sweden here. Vladimir Weiss is going to be booked for his challenge. It's going to be a free kick to the Swedes. And Weiss has got to retreat, and he is shown yellow.
There's a big goal mouth scramble from that corner, and yeah, Weiss is just thinking, I don't want to run back to my own goal, so he just takes him out. But it's a good opportunity for Slovakia. The ball was bobbling, but it was good defending from the Sweden defenders. Lustig's in there, and they're all putting their body on the line. Lindelof, Ekal, they're all doing it. So good defending, and that's what you want to see.
I just want to correct actually, because the information we were given from UEFA was that Duda had gone off, but actually he is still on the pitch. It was Hrofsky who went off on that occasion, so apologies for that, but that was the information that came up for us from UEFA. Late change for Sweden here, running down the clock as much as anything else. Albin Ekdal, 32 next month, 59th cap for him today. He's worked a very good shift in the middle of the midfield, and he slowly walks to the sidelines now, applauded by the Swedish fans as they welcome on Gustav Svensson, another who plays his club football in China these days, experienced player, and he'll just try to keep things tidy in the middle of the midfield for the remaining 2.5 minutes plus the stoppages of this game. Sweden 1, Slovakia 0. This is working out very well for the Swedes. A draw with Spain, and on the verge here of beating Slovakia if they can. Not long to go. 5-5 for the BBC. Build up to England against Scotland to come as soon as we're finished with the live football here. There is 6:06 after the England-Scotland game with Robbie and Chris later on tonight as well in 5 Live. Your chance to get involved and have your say on the radio tonight of whatever does occur at Wembley at 8 o'clock. Quayson here on the edge of the penalty area plays a good ball out to Isak. It was powerfully struck at him though, and he struggled to control it. Lustig comes up and wins a header which goes straight up into the air, and Duda does provide a little flick out to Vladimir Weiss. Right, they are almost out of time here, Slovakia. If they're going to score a late equaliser here, it is going to be a dramatic late one. The ball is played up to the feet of Duda. He will lay it off to the right-hand side to Hraslin. Weiss comes to offer himself. This is all still midway inside the Swedish half. The Swedes are working hard, and Forsberg, you can see he's exhausted, but he sprints and he gets to the ball ahead of Koselnik there. Good recovery from the Slovakia defence though, and that will be a free kick as Forsberg barrels into the back of Kucka. Free kick to Slovakia, but they are almost out of time, Clinton Morrison.
No, they are, yeah. They've not really been like how they were against Poland, where they were creating a lot of chances. You have to credit Sweden though. Sweden are good at defending, and they've got that all-important goal. And you know what it's like. You saw how good they were the other night against Spain, the way they can defend in their numbers. And if they go ahead, it is difficult to break them down.
This won't be the end of the world for Slovakia if it stays like this. Their opening win against Poland still has them in decent nick in the group. But it will set up a big game when they take on Spain in the final group match. On Wednesday, Kuczka's back up to his feet. Players look really exhausted. Sweltering temperatures in St. Petersburg. As the ball is cleared away, anywhere will do at the moment. Sweden just lash it out for a throw-in on the far side. We're about to see what will be added on for stoppages. 5 minutes to be added on in St. Petersburg. It ain't over yet. No. Wrestling. Pink boots cuts it off the touchline on the right-hand side. Time to throw the kitchen sink at it if you are Slovakia. Kucka controls the ball in the midfield. Jewish is in there with Weiss on the left-hand side, who tries a succession of step-overs and actually trods on the ball and trips himself. That's really disappointing. Isak looks for Quayson. He's done well to get it back to Forsberg, and now there's free running on the left wing and a chance for Bengtsson to break into the penalty area. His cross wasn't great. He'll try to keep the chance alive, though, as it comes back to him, and he's got the support from Forsberg, the hard-working blonde behind him. Now Bengtsson to the byline left-hand side. He'll try and shield it there. He's shoved to the back by Haraslin. Referee blows the whistle, but he's given the free kick to Slovakia. Thought that might be the other way.
Yeah, I don't think there was enough contact, and then Bengtsson just kept the ball in between his legs, and you can't do that. So I'm glad the referee, because usually in them situations they will give the free kick. There was hardly a touch and he went down, but right decision from the referee.
Sweden have claimed some big scalps under this manager, Jan Andersson. They beat Italy over 2 legs in the playoffs to reach the last World Cup. Remember, Italy weren't there, and that was because the Swedes had beaten them. They finished above the Netherlands in that qualifying group. They beat France. They finished ahead of Germany in the group when they were at the World Cup. So Sweden are able to drag out performances at big tournaments. But now, rather unnecessarily, they have given away a needless corner here, Clinton. And remember, they're only leading 1-0.
Yeah, Bengtsson, he had so much time, he could have even kicked out for a throw, and he kicked it for a corner. Olsen, the goalie, was going mad at him.
Yes, they will be furious if they concede from this. Duda takes the corner, floated in, strong header at the far post, but there was pushing. And it's the combative Juraj Kucka again, but he pushed a defender in the back. I mean, the header went over the crossbar anyway. But that will be a free kick to Sweden. You can bet your bottom dollar they will take their time over this.
Yeah, Lindelof does well there, but Kucka, he's had another good game for Slovakia. I really like him in midfield. He's combative in midfield. He works ever so hard. He wants to get on the end of stuff. He's a complete midfielder. He's had a good game, but good defending there from Lindelof.
Final change. Familiar face of Emil Kraft, the Newcastle player. He will come on in place of Emil Forsberg, who did play well in the game, but he's really hamming it up here now with his applause to the crowd and his slow walk off. And of course, it's all a bid to run the clock down. We've played 2.5 minutes of stoppages. There are 5 being added on in St. Petersburg. Sweden are almost there for their first win of the tournament. Played well, Forsberg. So Slovakia need to get possession back. They do. Skriniar inside his own half. Vladimir Weiss on the left. Skriniar makes his way forward, and he's going to go up and join the attack now. They're leaving themselves very light at the back, as they must do, Slovakia. Koselnik hammers in a high delivery. Too high for Skriniar. Sits up though for Michal Durish, who tries to slam it on the half volley, but it strikes the body of Kraft, Emil Kraft, who's just come on, and that ball goes out of play on the far side for a throw into Slovakia. Really quick VAR check there. They just wanted to see was there any chance that struck an arm. VAR says play on. German officials have done very well today. Vladimir Weiss crosses for Slovakia, takes a deflection off a defender at the front post, goes across the face of goal, and goes out for a corner. Vladimir Weiss's delivery came off, was it Lindelof on the way through? Anyway, it's a corner to Slovakia. This is do or die now.
It is
90 seconds remaining. No time to waste. Duda waits in the middle this time. The goalkeeper is up. Martin Dubravka's in the penalty area. Here comes the delivery. Dubravka flings his body at it, but it's headed away in front of him. Olsen punches clear. Not out of the penalty area, mind you. Back into the box. Up jumps Danielson to win a header, and the keeper's staying up there. The cross from the right-hand side, back into the penalty area, and a diving header away by Bengtsson, and Dubravka trops back towards his goal mouth once again.
Connor, surely Olsen has to catch that.
Here's Duda. Oh, plays a little nutmeg into the penalty area. Haraslin can't shoot. Weiss tries to shoot. There's appeals for a handball. They think it struck an arm on the edge of the box. The referee isn't interested. VAR will be looking in the background, but the referee, Daniel Siebert, immediately turned away. Play continues for now. It's all hands on deck in defence for Sweden. An exciting finish to a dull game as a shot to nothing from Kucka from miles out drifts wide of the target. He just tried to buy a lottery ticket there late on, but it looks like time has run out for Slovakia.
Yeah, but there was a foul on the edge of the box, and watch it again when it watches it. Look,
I'll tell you what's going to get him out of jail here. It comes off his own teammate directly in front of him, which they do give an allowance for.
And that is why it's not going to be given. It does come off his own teammate, but it does hit his arm.
I think it hits his arm twice, Clinton.
You're right.
Twice. Both ricocheted off a teammate. VAR have not said play on just yet, have they? Now they have. Check is over. It will not be a penalty. Look, if you're Slovakian, you're going crazy, but you can understand why. And that, you would imagine, will be their final chance. We've played well over the 5 minutes that were due to be added on. So Slovakia, who beat Poland in their opening game, are set to lose here 1-0 unless fortune can favour the brave. Late on here, Hansko launches it forward. This is the last throw of the dice. It bounces on the edge of the penalty area. Bengtsson did well to get it away. Anywhere will do for Sweden. The screaming at the referee. Where's the full-time whistle? But he's refusing to blow it yet.
The bench are going mad, saying that's over the blown now.
Satka plays it forward. This must be the end of it, and there we go. So it got much better in the second half. It got really good for Sweden, and they have built upon a rugged opening draw with Spain to grind out a 1-0 win here against Slovakia. It ain't pretty, Clinton Morrison, but it's effective, and they are looking really good for the last 16 now, Sweden.
Yeah, it's definitely not pretty, but it's effective. You can only do with the players that you've got, and they work ever so hard. But in the player of Forsberg is that they've got 2 players who can cause teams a lot of problems, and I thought they were the big difference. And Quaison coming on, he made a big difference as well. But they've defended well. Lindelof defended well, and also made good saves when he had to. And there's a good togetherness in this Sweden team.
So Zlatan Ibrahimovic injured a few months ago to rule himself out of the tournament, but Sweden are doing okay without him. 2 games in, 4 points on the board. They have beaten Slovakia in St. Petersburg. The penalty from Forsberg was the difference in this one.
The Swedish players out there now roaring in relief at each other. Lots of clenched fists, high fives going on, Clinton. That's massive, isn't it, for them?
Yeah, it's a huge result. After having a good draw against Spain, you want to come into this game where you are probably slightly favourites, and you need to go and get the 3 points. And in the first half, it didn't look like that. It looked like the game was going to end goalless, or maybe Slovakia could go on and win the game. But Sweden's second half were much better. They were on the front foot, and obviously the manager then made changes, and Forsberg and Isak, they were the 2 best players for me for Sweden. They kept on going, and they were the 2 that were likely going to go make something happen.
And Emma, this is what major tournaments are all about. It's not about hammering teams 3-0, 4-0. That rarely happens. It's grinding out games like this that could have gone either way. I think you could say the same about England and Croatia in the opening match. It's not about the performance. This is major tournament football. The result is all that matters, and Sweden have got the result today.
I imagine the former Sweden defender Jonas Olsson might just agree with you, Connor. I mean, 4 points from the opening 2 games. Just how satisfying is that, Jonas?
Yeah, very satisfying, of course. I think as well, second half today, we were really good. I thought, especially after the 1-0, we defended really well, and it was from 1-0. It was never in doubt. I think, like Clinton is saying, I thought involving Forsberg more in the game, Isak as well. That really made the difference today. And we still have Robin Quaison coming off the bench today, really contributes, and we have Dejan Kulusevski, who still hasn't featured. So I'm very positive about this side going forward.
Yeah, Clinton, Jonas saying there that after 1-0 he felt it was never really in doubt. I mean, the goal actually coincided with Mack going off as well, didn't it?
Yeah, they took off Mack and Hamsik. I was surprised, 2 of their best players. But I agree with Jonas. I think they took them off because Sweden were dominating, and obviously they maybe wanted to bring on different players and freshen it up. But Quaison came on, made a big difference. I'm surprised Quaison doesn't start up front with Isak. Isak, you got to realise, Emma, he's going to be a star. He is a player. That run he did where he could go down, where he beats 2 or 3 players, I was thinking, please go in the back of the net, because it's brilliant. And he's a young striker. He plays with a smile on his face. He enjoys his football. He's got a big future, to be fair.
Yeah, you're not the only one saying that at all, Clinton. Ben has tweeted at 5Live Sport, Isak standing head and shoulders above anyone on the pitch, especially in the second half. He's dragged Sweden up the pitch and given them a lot of confidence. And actually, Gary Lineker has echoed the same sentiments, Jonas. Doesn't think there's much doubt that Alexander Isak will attract a lot of attention from clubs across Europe. Exceptional talent. I think he's currently playing his football at Real Sociedad, but would you agree with that, Jonas? There's going to be a lot of interest now from clubs across the continent.
I totally agree. And for people who watch La Liga on a regular basis, you would have seen this year he's been exceptional. I do think as well, with Quaison next to him, is better. But Berg is not the player he was. He's 35 years. He doesn't have the stamina. He doesn't have the mobility to run up and down the pitch for 90 minutes. When Quaison comes in, he stretches Slovakia, which will give Isak more space in the almost like a number 10 position second half. So I would go with them two going forward.
Clinton, at the other end of the pitch, I could hear you getting repeatedly frustrated by a lack of Slovakian players in the box. I think Duda as a false nine, will we see that again in their final game?
I'm not sure, to be fair. I don't know if they've got a natural goal scorer in their squad, to be fair to you, Emma. But Duda, he just gets frustrated because he wants to link the play. You ask Jonas as a centre-half, he's happy with that. If balls are coming into the box, Lindelof, they're happy there's no striker going in and attacking. And I just thought it was comfortable for Sweden the whole game. Listen, in the first game against Poland went down to 10 men. It was a bit easier for Slovakia to create chances. But today, I thought going forward, they didn't have no punch. But you have to credit Sweden. They defend ever so well. They did that against Spain, and they could go far in this tournament because they've got that never say die attitude, and they've got players up front that can cause problems.
Well, Jonas, how far could they go? I guess that's the next question, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good question. If you look at them defensive-wise, they're so solid, and then they have the X factor with Isak, with Forsberg, with Kulusevski. So if Isak keeps playing the way he does, if they can feed him a little bit more, a few more balls, then they can go really far, I think. They can rely on their defensive shape. You see now, last 10-15 minutes today, I mean, Slovakia could they could keep putting crosses in for another 15 minutes and they would be fine defending it. What Clinton is saying, I think that's the struggle for Sweden, the space behind, because you have quite immobile back four. Maybe Lindelof, he has pace. Danielsson is more of a physical player. Lustig as well, and with Augustinsson is a little bit more attacking orientated. So the space behind is the one to attack, I think. Today when Sweden can defend on the front foot, there's few teams who will break them down.
A quick word from you, Clinton, on the penalty that Forsberg scored. I mean, Dubravka did well, didn't he? But I'm not sure anyone's getting to that. He placed it perfectly.
Yeah, you can put any goalkeeper in there. They're not really going to save that. It was brilliant. It's a difficult skill to do it like that, Emma, because most people go up to that and put it across them into the other corner. But he favours that side. Forsberg. It's a good penalty right into the corner because Larsson did miss one in the build-up. So I was thinking who's going to take it. But credit Forsberg. He was really good today, and it's a really good penalty. Confident penalty.
Just looking at the Group E table then, Jonas, Sweden sitting at the top, which I'm sure you're very pleased to see. What approach do you expect from them in their final game then against Poland?
I think the same approach as we've seen in the first two games. You're going to rely on the shape. You're going to sit back probably against Poland, be really tight around Lewandowski, and for Sweden, now things change. Like we were saying going into this game, a draw would be good for Slovakia. In the final game against Poland, a draw would fit perfect for Sweden. So they won't go chasing the game. They will be compact, and perhaps like we spoke about depth before in the squad. Perhaps they will play Quaison from start next game. We saw also Anderson making a substitution in the midfield with Larsson going in centrally and Victor Claesson coming in on the wing. Victor Claesson was probably the best Swedish player in the World Cup 2018. So I think we will see that slight change of personnel as well.
Well, there's lots of yellow shirts bouncing up and down inside the stadium in St. Petersburg. Smiley faces as well. So with that, Jonas, we'll say goodbye. You can go and enjoy the celebrations. We look forward to having you on soon.
Thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you. And I think we'll also say goodbye to our team that have covered that game. So Clinton Morrison, Conor McNamara, thank you.
Thanks, Emma.
Thanks, Emma.
Cheers, guys. Right, so we'll have the news for you in a moment. But before that, the feature race on day 4 of Royal Ascot, the Coronation Stakes, is due off at 4:20. John Hunt will be bringing us commentary of that one and has all the latest news from a very soggy racecourse, John.
Yes, still soggy as well, getting soggier by the minute, Emma, as well. We've got a dramatic day as well behind us with the Commonwealth Cup, the other of the feature races that has just concluded a few moments ago. First past the post there, Dragon Symbol, ridden by Oisin Murphy, beat Campanelle, ridden by Frankie Dettori, by a head. There is a stewards' inquiry ongoing, and my reading of that was that the winner, Dragon Symbol, drifted into the path of Campanelle. The stewards may well turn that result around. We'll let you know that later. Meanwhile, Alenka won the King Edward VII Stakes. That's the race known as the Derby of Royal Ascot. He won the Sandown Classic Trial last time out, beating the subsequent Derby winner Adayar, but he won in good style this afternoon. And as you say, at the moment, Oisin Murphy, Frankie Dettori involved in a stewards' inquiry into the Commonwealth Cup, and they're both very much involved in the feature race, the Coronation Stakes, in just a few moments' time. Murphy rides alcohol-free. Frankie Dettori's on Pretty Gorgeous. Both those horses should enjoy the soft ground.
Cheers, John. We'll be back with John at around 4:20 this afternoon. But play is underway on the second day of the US Open at Torrey Pines in San Diego. Plenty of players had to return to complete their first rounds this morning, and our golf correspondent Ian Carter can bring us up to date.
Yes, among them Louis Oosthuizen, who resumed at 4 under par in a share of the lead with Russell Henley. He completed the final 2 holes in par figures, so joint leaders heading into the second round at 4 under par. Richard Bland, the 48-year-old English veteran, is having the time of his golfing life at the moment. Recent winner of the British Masters at the Belfry. He's right up there on this leaderboard. He's picked up an early birdie, and through 3 holes of his second round, 1 under for his round, 2 under overall, in a share of 5th place, just 2 shots off the lead. And Rory McIlroy, a nice tee shot off his opening hole, and that puts him in nice position to make the most of a good day yesterday. His 1 under par 70 currently has him in a share of 10th place, and as he plays his opening hole, he's just 3 shots off the lead.
And John, more news.
Yes, that Commonwealth Cup stewards' inquiry has concluded, and the stewards have reversed the result. Campanelle has been awarded the win now. Frankie Dettori on board 5-1. Dragon Symbol, who was the first one past the post, has been disqualified and placed second. Murphy and Dettori then with a score to settle in the Coronation Stakes in 20 minutes' time.
Yes, the time has just gone at 4 o'clock here on 5 Live. Not long to go until that big kick-off at Wembley. Our third and final commentary of the day is a big one, England against Scotland. Before that, though, over the next hour, we will be building up to today's first Group D game between Croatia and Czech Republic. With it being a Friday, if you are just joining us to hear Commode and Mayo's film review, you can get the podcast now from BBC Sounds. This week, they are speaking to director Ben Wheatley, and they review his new film In the Earth, plus also reviews of Luca, Monster Hunter and the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. You can hear a shorter version of the programme a bit later tonight at midnight here on 5 Live. Now, though, let's get the news. Here's Richard Foster.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Boris Johnson says the Liberal Democrats' by-election win in Buckinghamshire is disappointing, but the government will keep trying to unite and level up. Sarah Green took the seat for the Lib Dems by 8,000 votes. Peter Fleet is the defeated Tory candidate.
The Liberal Democrats Party were able to just land their entire UK operation on top of the constituency for 5 weeks. The Liberal Democrats also did a super job, it has to be admitted, of telling everyone in the constituency over and over again that this wasn't about changing the government. This was their opportunity to express how upset they are with a few things.
806 people in England have gone to hospital with the Delta variant of COVID-19 in the past 7 days. That's more than double the total for last week. Public Health England says 65% were unvaccinated.